Well, it just might be the best weather day of the year. The flowers in full bloom as we celebrate Mom. Happy Mother's Day to all, and what a great day to have Mom and the family out of the park. I have the best of Mom. I think everyone kind of feels that way. Waving at the cameras, and a great day for some baseball and celebrating every mom this afternoon. From Citi Field in New York, it's the Mets taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates this afternoon. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the broadcast. I'm Kevin Burkhardt. Gary Cohen and Ron Darling will be along in just a moment. So the Mother's Day present to all you moms out there is a Matt Harvey start. He has been absolutely phenomenal so far this year, looking to up his record to 5-0. He comes into this game with a league-leading 1.28 ERA and comes off the best start of his young major league career, flirting with perfection against the White Sox, where he was simply untouchable. He had every pitch working, strikeouts galore. Matter of fact, took a perfect game into the seventh inning. He retired 20 straight White Sox at one point. This was the only blip. Alex Rios, a little tap to the left side. Tejada tried to do all he could. Unfortunately, the hit and just beat it out. Harvey, though, continued. 12 strikeouts, 105 pitches through 9, but the Mets had to go to extra innings to get that win over Chicago. But he has been terrific, and then some. And quite frankly, he's brought a little bit of an electricity to the park every time he's pitched. Fans on their feet every time there's two strikes. Some of his numbers are historically tremendous so far, what he's done in his young Mets career. And what better way to get more on Matt Harvey than to go upstairs to Ron Darling in the booth. And Ron, as you get set to call another Harvey start, how about the emotional side from you? What's it like from you, a former major leaguer, to come and watch what he has done and the way he goes about his business today?
Kevin, I've been blessed as a player. I got to come every 5 days and watch Dwight Gooden pitch. In those days, I used to have to chart because I would start after Dwight. Yes, chart pitches. But when the game time came and my work was done, I would take my seat at the end of the dugout, just soak it all in. The fans, the crowd, the atmosphere. And really, as a fan, couldn't wait for Dwight to take the mound. And now, as a broadcaster, I want to do every extra inning game. I want to do every historic game. And every time Matt Harvey takes the mound, you feel like it's going to be a historic game. His last game was unbelievable, fun to watch, and we're expecting more today.
Appreciate it, Ronnie, about how he's kind of approached each different lineup as the game goes on.
Well, I think, the thing about Harvey, I think what's really important as we watch him is just that he's gotten better. And most young pitchers, you don't always see that. And I think against this Pittsburgh team, a lot of free swingers, a lot of young players. We expect another big outing today.
All right, so it's Matt Harvey getting the start. Matt Harvey Day at Citi Field. It's Happy Mother's Day to all you great moms out there. Mets and the Pirates. First pitch is coming up next on SNY. By Mazda, if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. By AT NYN, rethink possible. By Subway Restaurant, Subway, eat fresh. And by Audi, truth in engineering. Send your Mets to the 2013 MLB All-Star Game right here at Citi Field. Vote on Mets.com to be eligible for a special ticket offer and a meet and greet opportunity with David Wright. For you Mets fans, vote early, vote often, and vote Mets at Mets.com. Check out the Mets' upcoming schedule presented by Ridgewood Savings Bank. And, of course, a tough road trip coming up with 4 at the red-hot St. Louis Cardinals this week. And they'll cap it off with a weekend trip. Always fun. Take on the Cubs at Wrigley Field. Remember, you can listen to all Mets games on Sports Radio 66 and Sports Radio 101.9 FM WFAN. When we come back, Matt Harvey going to make the start, trying to go 5-0. Gary Cohen and Ron Darling have the call on SNY.
His starts quickly became events from the day he arrived in the major leagues last year, and now all eyes in baseball are on Matt Harvey every time he takes the mound. Last start was as phenomenal as it could possibly be. 9 innings, 1 hit, no walks, 12 strikeouts, and no decision. That had never happened to any pitcher before. Now all the Mets have to hope is they can get him some runs, and Matt Harvey gets the start today.
You know, once every 5th day now, this is an occasion when he pitches. And right now, the way the Mets are going, they're a good team when Harvey takes the mound, so looking for a win today.
And what they need is some support from the rest of the rotation. They haven't gotten that, but puts a lot more pressure on a young pitcher who seems to be able to handle every bit of it very early in his career. Here's the Hyundai starting lineup that he will face today. The Pirates have been hot the last 2 days. They've scored 18 runs in the last 2 ball games. And Pedro Alvarez, who has had a good series, sat yesterday back in there. Jordy Mercer had a couple of home runs yesterday. And Starling Marte and the rest of the gang up against Harvey this afternoon.
Well, if there was a higher league, when you look at these Jaguar numbers, he would be called up to it, because just phenomenal numbers. To have 22 hits and almost 50 innings pitched, only 12 walks, close to 60 strikeouts, opponent's average. The whip, I don't know if I've ever seen a walks and hits, the innings pitched at .69. Just amazing. The defensively behind Matt Harvey today, the Lexus Mets defense, you see Duda, Lagares, Baxter, Wright, Tejada, Murphy, and Davis, and John Buck behind the plate. It's the A team is out there today.
New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Bob's Discount Furniture, proud to be the furniture store of the New York Mets. You know, there's been a lot of outstanding pitching in Major League Baseball just in the last few days, with the one-hitters thrown by John Lester and Shelby Miller. But you look at the 17 starts that Matt Harvey has made in his Major League career, and he's accomplishing things that have never been accomplished before. To wit, 125 plus strikeouts, 25 or fewer earned runs in 17 starts. In 100 years in Major League Baseball, nobody had ever done that in their first 17 starts. That is your Coors Light cold hard fact. And it really puts in perspective that not only is this guy pitching lights out, but he's pitching at a historical level that you can't believe. And you said something during the open with Kevin today that really caught my attention. And it's true. He's only gotten better from the day he arrived. Yeah,
it's just amazing. And I was telling Kevin in the open, if you missed it, is that when I used to come and sit on the bench when Dwight Gooden pitched, I could not wait for the game to start. Can I tell you, I never played with another pitcher my entire career, 13 years, that ever made me feel like that. Harvey makes me feel like that in the booth.
Starling Marte will be the first man to face him, and like many of the players today on Mother's Day, all decked out in pink, got the bat, got the wristband, got the sleeve. You'll see players with pink spikes today, all in honor of Mom, and we wish every mom out there the most joyous of Mother's Days 2013. Matt Harvey ready to go. He's got the pink necklace going in honor of his mom. Marte 5 for 13 in the series, hitting at .336, and swings at the first pitch and fouls it back, and we're underway. Marte 5th in the National League in batting average. He has been spectacular early in games, but not in this series. He was 17 for 27 in the first inning coming in, 0 for 3 in the first inning in this series. It'll be Marte, then Travis Snyder and Andrew McCutchen for the Pirates, who've won 2 of the first 3 games in the series. And Harvey throws that nasty slider. 1-2 to Marte.
Tiny little break, looks like a fastball out of his hand, and makes a little left turn. Nice pitch there by Harvey.
He has been making great use of his other pitches other than his fastball. Throws the curveball and gets a ground ball down to third. Right with a tough bare hand play. Got him. Marte out by an eyelash for the first out of the game, and Marte very upset with the first base umpire Rob Drake.
No one makes this play better than number 5 in the Mets. And I thought honestly by the first look that he was safe. Watch like Davis though, comes off a little early and cheats a little bit, and that might have gotten David and Matt Harvey the call. Watch as the ball comes, look at Ike's foot, starts to come off that base. It's a veteran move.
Clint Hurdle out to argue the call with Rob Drake after Marte reacted quickly, and so did the first base coach Rick Sofield, and Clint Hurdle getting right up in the grill of Rob Drake to argue the first out of the game.
Makes me think of the last game when Mark Carlson had a somewhat difficult call on the infield hit off the bat of Alex Rios against Harvey. He had to get that right, and he did.
Well, the way things are going for Harvey, you look at the first out of the game and you say, will that be important? Clint Hurdle felt that it was. Here's Travis Snyder, 0 for 3 in this series, sat the last 2 days because he's been struggling, and he takes inside for ball 1. Snyder at .263 on the year. He's been playing most of the right field against right-hand pitching. They'll say Tabata played right field the last 2 days and hit well. Tabata had a huge day yesterday, so it's a little surprising to see that he wasn't in the lineup today.
Harvey and the Mets have to be happy that Tabata's not in the lineup hitting as well as I've ever seen him. The 24-year-old right fielder.
He had 4 hits, including a home run in yesterday's game. 96 on the fastball from Harvey, and he gets ahead 1-2. Andy Fletcher has the balls and strikes today. We've already seen Rob Drake. Sam Holbrook at second, and the crew chief Joe West, who got us back to baseball after a 47-minute rain delay in an 11-1 game in the 9th inning yesterday.
Joe's so patient.
Foul down the left side now to play. I mean, most umpires, I think, most crew chiefs would have said it's 11-1. It's the middle of the ninth. It's pouring. Wait a half hour like you're required to in the rules. Game's off.
Joe had a free dinner last night, though, from Andrew Brown.
That's true. Andrew was able to hit a home run after the rain delay. His first as a Met. There's Joe. Here's the 1-2. And Snyder pops it up in foul ground to right, hoping for a play, but that's going to be behind the dugout. With McCutchen waiting on deck, Harvey's 1-2 to Snyder, and a slow ground ball to Ike Davis. Harvey gets over to cover, just in time for the second out. You know, we talked about Harvey mixing in a lot of his off-speed pitches, and he has done that a lot to the first two batters of the game.
Terry Collins, Dan Worthen have talked with John Buck. They feel as though that Matt, in his first few starts in the major leagues last year, he can get real fastball happy. So they've really tried to include the breaking ball in the first inning, really to calm him down.
So here's Andrew McCutchen batting with 2 out and nobody on. McCutchen 3 for 11 in this series. This is the first time Harvey has ever faced the Pirates. First pitch swinging, a ground ball for Tejada, and Harvey has a 1-2-3 opening inning. And McCutchen not running hard to first base. That's the first time we've seen that from any Pirate in this series. Mets come to bat with no score.
Background.
Well, here's your Geico Mets starting lineup, and remember this lineup because you may see it quite a bit over the next week. Mets are facing 7 straight right-handed starting pitchers, and Terry Collins says, look, I got to put my RBI guys in the RBI spots. It's their job to drive in runs. So Davis goes back to the 4-hole due to hitting number 5, and they're going to stay that way for a while.
Well, pitching for the Pirates today, and you can see his Toyota numbers. Jean-Maire Gomez, 22 innings, 22 2/3 innings. He's a guy that kind of is a long reliever, spot starter, occasionally sinker slider. Nothing outstanding.
Ruben Tejada will lead off. Ruben 2 for 13 in this series. His average down to 242 for the year. And Gomez starts him off with a fastball strike. That's about where Gomez will live. 91 with the fastball. Throw sliders and changeups. Came over from the Indians in the offseason for a minor league outfielder. Had parts at 3 years in Cleveland. This is just his 3rd start of the year.
It was a little harsh by me. Nothing outstanding. You know what I meant. He doesn't throw 95 plus. He doesn't have a razor blade slider. He's one of those guys that works with great control.
It's hard to be on the other side of Matt Harvey.
I know. That's not fair.
Everything is going to pale in comparison. Pulled down to 3rd, and Alvarez handles the hop and throws out Tejada, 1 away.
Well, the defense behind Gomez, Marte, McCutchen, and Snyder, a young outfield. Alvarez, who's having a great series with the bat. Barmes, Mercer, who had 2 home runs yesterday. Garrett Jones, who had a big game in the 2nd game of the series. And McHenry, Chris McHenry, behind the plate.
Here's Daniel Murphy. Murphy trying to snap out of an 0 for 14 skid that has seen his average drop to 258. His on-base percentage now under 300 after a very fast start. And he takes the fastball away from Gomez.
Mentioning the defense, Michael McHenry behind the plate. I think I might have called him Chris, sorry. There because of Russell Martin's having pain in his neck still.
In fact, they brought in a minor league catcher yesterday, the Pirates did, to be on the taxi squad in case they had to make a move with Martin. But they opted to not do that, figuring Russell will be able to play in the next few days. You see how Murphy has tailed off after that tremendous start. Gomez behind 2-0, and he misses low with the sinker and falls behind 3-0 with David Wright on deck. The Pirates have got great starting pitching, even though they've got a couple of starters on the disabled list. Charlie Morton fighting back from Tommy John surgery, almost ready for a rehab stint. Jeff Karsten's on the sidelines as well. There's a strike 3-1, but Francisco Liriano came in, first game off the DL, pitched very well yesterday. And over their last 5 games, last time through the rotation, the Pirates' starting ERA is 1.53. So that has helped keep them 4 games over 500. Murphy hits it sharply, but on one hop to Jordy Mercer, and that's the 2nd out. So a couple of ground balls from a ground ball specialist, Jean-Marc Gomez. 2 out and nobody on for David Wright. David continues to swing the bat well, 4 for 11 in this series.
Always like that little chatter between an established star like Wright and the catcher Michael McHenry.
Last year, David got off to a tremendous statistical start to his season. Didn't have a great second half, but his first half was phenomenal. His numbers aren't quite as eye-popping this year over the first 6 weeks of the season. That one banks off the foot of the pitcher, Gomez. Alvarez tries to make a play, and he got him! I don't know how he did it, but Alvarez able to throw out David Wright on the 1-5-3 putout, and Gomez not limping as he comes off the mound. Terrific play by Alvarez to throw out Wright. By Kia, Steven Strasburg didn't allow an earned run yesterday, and yet lost. Now 1-5, 3.10 as the Cubs won 8-2. Yu Darvish now 6-1. Rangers got 3 home runs and beat the Astros 8-7. And Madison Bumgarner 11 strikeouts in 7 innings. Gregor Blanco 4 RBIs in the Giants' 10-1 win over the Braves. Garrett Jones will bat leading off in the 2nd inning. Jones 4 for 9 in this series. Sat yesterday against the left-hander. 2 doubles and a home run among his 4 hits. That's his average over 300 for the year. And Matt Harvey starts him off with a fastball. 95 miles an hour, just outside. It'll be Jones, then Jordy Mercer, and Pedro Alvarez in the 2nd. Popped it up. Mike Davis flipping the glasses down as he comes into foul ground. And a tough route to the ball, but he's able to stay with it for the first out.
Well, I was listening to John Buck. He was saying plenty of room, Mike. Well, it really wasn't plenty of room by the time he got to the baseball, backed up, and makes a nice play.
Usually he's better at that railing if he has to go to the other side of it.
Yeah. Well, 2 things I like here when you look at the release point. One is see how this glove is tucked. That is beautiful. That clears your front hip. And see his hand here. That is the ball in front of your face before you release it. Those 2 are what you want to see in a pitcher, fundamentally. Those 2 things.
Jordy Mercer, the number 5 hitter. Mercer hit 2 home runs yesterday. His 2nd and 3rd of the year. He's been playing second base in the absence of Neil Walker. And the curveball from Harvey in for a strike, and it's 0-2.
The one thing we saw in that picture of Matt Harvey is they're both the same in the 1st inning and 2nd inning. So repeats his motion. Big key.
Foul tip and just off Buck, who bore the brunt of that. Got him in the knee? Or down toward the foot?
No, neither.
Bad play?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a double hit. So Buck takes a moment to feel better. Harvey focuses in, and the 0-2 to Mercer. A little tapper. Matt off the mound to backhand it, fields it very cleanly, and that's the 2nd out. Well, we were talking about Matt's fastball percentage, and I think like most pitchers, he throws more fastballs early in games.
Yeah, and then he'll mix it up more when he gets a better feel for his breaking pitch. But you mentioned, Gary, the one thing about Matt, he might not throw it in abundance, but he will use his breaking pitch the first time through the order.
Here's an amazing thing about Harvey, and you know there are a lot of great stats about him. His fastball gets more swings and misses by percentage than any pitcher in the majors so far this year, as Pedro Alvarez steps in. But then when he throws the off-speed stuff, everything but the fastball, against his slider, curveball, and changeup, the league is hitting .073. So he's got everything working for him at this point in the season. You see the overall percentages of pitches thrown. Look at the numbers against the slider and the changeup.
Jeez.
But 56% is not a high percentage for a power pitcher. Goes to the off-speed pitch. 2 balls and a strike to Alvarez.
Hitters are hitting career off me, 0 off my changeup, Gary.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, how many pitchers come to the major leagues with 4 pitches as polished as he has at this point? Alvarez drives one to the gap in right center field. That heads toward the wall and short hops it. First hit of the game belongs to Pedro Alvarez, a 2-out double. So Alvarez picking up where he left off on Friday night. Now 5 out of 8 in this series.
Interesting enough, it was the changeup that we were just talking about, hit by Alvarez, who just loves home cooking here in New York. Just has been lighting up the Mets the entire series. The only game he didn't was yesterday because he didn't play.
So no perfect game for Matt Harvey. He went 6 2/3 perfect into his start last time out against the White Sox. Gives up a 2-out double to Alvarez, and now will pitch out of the stretch for the first time to Michael McHenry, the catcher. McHenry has been filling in for Russell Martin, who started the first game of the series Thursday night, but the neck issue continues for Martin. So McHenry starting for the 6th time in the last 7 games. 3 for 8 in this series, and he takes a fastball up and in. There's Russell Martin, who got off to a very slow start but was red hot before he ran into this latest physical setback. Here's the good slider, a ball and a strike to McHenry. By the way, this is Harvey's 8th start. It's the 3rd hit he's given up in the 2nd inning this year.
You know, interesting though, 7 batters in, and Pittsburgh so far taking good at bats, no strikeouts yet.
And they're making contact. There's a swing and miss. High fastball, and it's 1-2. I would have to say this about Harvey's fastball today. It's not as electric as what we saw in his last start.
You know, the hitters let you know how electric your fastball is, and the Pirates have done a better job, at least the first time through this order, being on that fastball.
Well, this is it's not always going to be at top wattage. We saw that in the start in Miami 2 starts back. Here's the 1-2. A little blooper behind first, and Davis has it lined up. That retires the side. A 2-out double. Alvarez left at second. We go to the bottom of the 2nd with no score. We go to the bottom of the 2nd inning with no score. Matt Harvey coming off the mound after the top of the 2nd, and Dan Warthen waylays him.
You know, I've had discussions. I'm not saying Matt and Dan have had this discussion before, but I've come into the dugout in between innings and looked at Mel Stottlemyre and kind of rolled my eyes like, you know what? There's not a lot in the tank today, but we're going to figure it out somehow, some way. There you go.
Mets fans standing for Harvey.
Well, sitting down right now, but I get it.
He's not on the mound. You can't stand for him while he's in the dugout. Ike Davis leads off in the home 2nd. Very interesting to listen to Terry Collins before the game today, and he talked about this after the game last night as well, that with the Mets not scoring runs, and they've scored 3 runs or fewer in every game on this homestand, he needs for his RBI guys to be his RBI guys, and that starts with Ike Davis, who lifts the first pitch he sees out to left. Starling Marte back to the edge of the track to grab it. 1 pitch and 1 out. And so Terry's going to put Davis in the 4 hole, leave him there, give a good hard look, as he said, at this lineup. Going to keep Lucas Duda in the 5-hole behind him. Feels comfortable about that because Lucas has handled lefties okay, and he's going to leave it that way.
To me, it's a sink or swim kind of deal. It's like, these are our best players. We've tried moving them down in the lineup to protect them. That has not worked. So listen, it's your responsibility. We started out the season. It's your responsibility. Go play. Get it done.
You know, the Mets faced lefties each of the last 3 days, and in various configurations. Terry played some of his right-handed bats, and Davis and Duda played less. But what ends up happening is that you end up fracturing the fluidity of your lineup, and you're playing players who might be good role players but are not your frontline guys. So now the frontline guys are in there. Full shift on against Duda. He takes up and away from Gomez, 2-1.
The lineup occasionally looked like the lineup you would play on a Sunday, a day game after a night game, and he did it for a week. Time to put the big boys in there and earn your money. Let's go.
Well, one thing I know for sure, what is about to befall the Mets in St. Louis is not the greatest recipe for getting out of a team-wide batting slump, because the Cardinals have the best starting pitching by far, top to bottom, in the National League this year. 5 starters, all with ERAs of 2.7 and below.
Duda drives one to deep center field. Back goes McCutchen to the warning track, looking up, and it's out of here. Lucas Duda to center field. The Big Lebowski, number 8, and it's 1-0 New York.
I know it's vernacular, but instead of waiting for your pitch, how about being ready for your pitch? And Lucas Duda was ready there.
Well, we saw it a lot last year, even early this year, taking the 3-1 fastball. Not this time. And so Duda unloads his 8th. His first hit in this series, and the Mets grab the early lead for Matt Harvey. Now John Buck, who's in a 1-for-22 skid right now. Just 3 for 26 in the month of May. And he takes a strike.
Get the bat started, looking for that fastball middle, and the extension by Duda. That's where the big boys hit him, right there. 6-7 rows back. I don't think you get any better than that. That L-shaped that you have on that back leg. Great foundation, stiff front leg, and hitting the ball in front of the plate.
And the pink spikes, they only add to the effect. Little blooper by Buck, shallow right center, falling fast for a base hit. So Duda hits a bomb, Buck hits a bloop, and the Mets have a man on.
I usually root for a bloop and a blast, but this time a blast and a bloop, and John Buck will take it.
Well, after just 1 for his last 22, every hit counts. Well, Mike Baxter, who's been the king of the pinch hitters, gets a start today. Mike has only had 1 at bat in this series, and that was his walk-off hit in the opening game of the series Thursday night. The problem for Mike has been that while his results off the bench have been tremendous, when he's been in the lineup, he hasn't been able to produce at nearly the same rate. Interesting that he takes an aggressive approach in his first at bat, which he doesn't usually do when he starts. There are the pink spikes for Mother's Day.
See Matt Harvey giving a little extra handshake.
Well, he never got a run the last time.
Yeah, where was that 5 days ago?
Remember when Harvey finished his 9 innings and he came in the dugout after allowing just 1 hit, and he screams out, "Let's go." Well, now it's on him. You got your run, big boy? You know, we've talked about with Baxter, though, that he kind of has 2 different approaches depending on whether he comes off the bench or whether he starts.
Well, I think he gets locked in because he has such a good eye, Gary. He gets locked in sometimes to making sure he pigeonholes that baseball and make sure it's the perfect place for him. I think being aggressive or more aggressive as a starter is going to bode well for him.
And an off-speed pitch by Gomez that had him fooled. 1-2.
We had that shot. Our director Billy Webb of Harvey. You see him asking Murphy, said, "What does this guy got?" And Murph gave him this kind of answer: "Nothing. It's a little sinker slider."
Go get him. Pirates with a full infield shift on against Baxter. You don't think of as a dead pull hitter. There goes Buck. The pitch inside. Double clutch by McHenry, and Buck steals the base. How about that? First stolen base of the year for Buck, as McHenry, probably in disbelief, double clutched.
Well, we just saw the Kentucky Derby, which is considered the greatest 2 minutes in sports. This wasn't 2 minutes, but it was pretty close. Took a long time for Buck to get down there. But McHenry, like you said, Gary, with a double clutch, allowed Buck to steal that base.
His first stolen base since 2009. His first ever as a National Leaguer. And Baxter rifles one foul. Well, that's just stunning. That's a Rick Cerrone moment. Well, he should get a base presentation after the game.
Well, you know what? They're playing behind him, allowing him to get a big lead, and he took advantage of it. I honestly think that the Mets should do that more often. It's hard for them to put offensively 2, 3, 4 hits together in a row. This allows them with one hit by Baxter to grab another run.
He's been pretty special with a runner at second base on this homestand. Had the game-winning hit Tuesday night and again on Thursday. Two from Gomez, and he spins it outside. 3-2. Baxter 5 for 9 as a pinch hitter this year, hitting .209 in his other at bats. Juan Lagares sitting 8th in the order, waiting on deck. That's a grab the lead here in the second on Lucas Duda's home run.
See, with Buck now stealing second base, the shortstop Barmes has to play on the other side, opening up that hole to the right of the second baseman.
There's that conversation you were talking about early.
What's he got? What's he got, Murph? A little sink, a little slider. You don't see that very often.
Pitchers asking for a scouting report. Yeah, he's not your average hitting pitcher either. He's going to hit a couple of bombs in his career. Eighth pitch of the at bat coming to Baxter. And Mike watches outside, and he's aboard. First walk given up by Gomez, who had 11 walks in 22 innings coming in. Gomez making just his third start after 5 relief outings through 5 scoreless innings against the Mariners his last start. Now Juan Lagares has looked a lot better in this series at the plate. Making his 9th start for the Mets. Let's see what the Mets have failed to do in terms of driving in runs in this series. Let's see, 3 for 21. At least one of those belongs to Baxter.
Yeah.
And Lagares takes a knee-high strike. Lagares 3 for 11 in this series. Been a little more patient, a little less apt to dive out of the strike zone. 25-year-old Jeanmar Gomez. With the 0-1. And Lagares reaches and fouls off the slider. 0-2. Gomez and McHenry having trouble getting on the same page, so we'll talk about it. Just for the record,
Yeah.
he said John Buck's last deal was in 2009. The pitcher that day was Freddie Garcia.
Okay.
The catcher was A.J. Brzezinski.
So White Sox? Yeah, I guess.
So now he's got Gomez and McHenry on his ledger as well. 5 career stolen bases now for John Buck.
Still laughing about it.
He's going to be talking about this for a few days now. Certainly be a subject of much conversation post-game.
Should give him the second base bag.
I'm telling you, that's what they did with Cerrone when he stole a base in Montreal. Now Gomez and McHenry on the same page, and Lagares watches 1 and 2. Matt Harvey waiting on deck with his pink bat. Pitches already in this inning for Jean-Marc Gomez, who has really slowed down the tempo now with a couple of runners on. And Lagares has to move his feet on that sinker. 2 and 2.
Well, the thing first time through the lineup with Gomez, it's pretty simple. If he comes in, he's not going to double up in. He'll do it for show. He'll go back out with the slider or fastball away. That's something, as you want to think about your approach, Mets hitters, that's something to think about.
So now Lagares has worked his way back to 2 and 2. And he hits the slider back to the mound. Gomez gets the out at second, and that's all as Mercer handles the throw. 1-4 on the fielder's choice for the second out. Buck goes to third. Lagares on at first, and Matt Harvey will get a turn with runners on the corner.
Well, slow moving for Gomez. You know what happened here, Gary? That's a pitcher who wasn't prepared to know what he was going to do with the baseball if it came back to him. Before you deliver the pitch, you've got to know, ball back to me, I'm going to second for a double play. Watch how when the ball comes back to him, where does he look first? He looks at third base, the runner Buck going. That's not where you want to look. You want to look straight to second, get rid of that ball quickly, and you would have had a double play.
It's so tempting, though, isn't it? Because as he turns to catch that ball, the runner going from second to third is right in his line of sight.
But if you think about it before it comes to you, you know, won't even see him.
So now here's Harvey, 2 for 14 on the season. And he takes a strike on the outside.
Well, the scouting report is out on Matt. He has been seeing a steady diet of breaking pitches. All good hitting pitchers are going to see that.
And there's the slider. 0-2.
That was a good one there, by the way. Dropped down a little bit. And that ball cut and end slide at the same time. McHenry barely able to catch it.
Matt has 3 career runs batted in. They all came last season. There goes Lagares, and Harvey strikes out to end the inning. But the Mets take the lead. Lucas Duda sat out yesterday, back in the lineup today. And he clocks one well over 400 feet for his 8th of the year to put the Mets up 1-0. Their first New York appearance in 35 years takes on Honduras. Tickets start at $20. Purchase tickets at Mets.com/soccer. Matt Harvey back to the mound for the third inning, now fortified with a 1-0 lead. Just one more note about the stolen base. We talked about that famous Rick Cerrone stolen base. It came in 1991 in Montreal. He had gone 5 years since his prior stolen base, and not quite as long as Buck went. Buck went 4 seasons between steals.
Spongy was the greatest. I'll never forget. We went out of spring training that year. The top #1 catcher got hurt, and he uttered the famous line on the plane back to New York, "I didn't sign with this team to play every day. We got to find somebody else." Spongy, one of my favorites.
Clint Barmes leads off in the third inning for the Pirates. Barmes 3 for 8 in this series, has been swinging the bat well. Hitting .355 over the last 11 games after a dreadful start to his season. And Harvey starts him off with a high fastball. And Harvey's just he's not releasing the fastball with the giddy up that he had against the White Sox on Tuesday. Threw 105 pitches in that start, 121 in his prior start.
This one's driven to deep left field off the bat of Barmes. Duda to the wall, and that ball's gone. Clint Barmes with his second home run of the year, and that ties the game at 1. Just the third home run that Harvey's given up this season. So Clint Barmes gets the Pirates even.
Well, Harvey gets behind, comes in with the fastball. Barmes jumped him. Usually when you see Harvey's fastball up in the strike zone, they don't make contact. It wasn't as high as I thought it was. That's middle. Good job by Barmes.
So that was a stunner. And now Jomar Gomez takes a breaking ball for a strike.
That's his third home run given up by Matt Harvey this season. Justin Morneau.
And Matt Kemp hit the other one, that opposite field shot. There's a line drive to center by Gomez, and on comes Lagares, and he makes the catch on the second effort. What a play! I'm not sure I've ever seen the likes of this before. Trying to make the shoestring catch and then stumbling forward to grab it. An incredible play by Lagares.
We'll see plenty of this in the next 24 hours. Just shovels it forward, stays with it. And that ball was dipping off the bat of the pitcher Gomez and still able to come up with that play. Outstanding.
The power of concentration. That was extraordinary. Now Starling Marte takes a curveball a little bit high. So Harvey just a shade off his game today. And now let's see how he's able to adjust. Marte grounded out to third his first time up.
These are the games that you judge great pitchers. You can see right now the difference between the first and the third inning. More on top of the ball in that first inning than he is now. You can see that arm is just a little to the side, leaning a little towards third base. So his arm angle has dropped just a bit.
We've referenced the start against Miami when he labored his way into the 6th inning through 121 pitches. Really had fastball command issues in that game. And that's outside ball 4, and Marte is on with a walk, and right now it just seems like he's a little out of sync.
Well, you can see he's frustrated already. Makes a point to Tejada, tells him, okay, let's get 2 on the ball back to me. You got to fight through that frustration. A lot of times what happens, Gary, and it might not even be, although we're seeing it true here, you're on the mound, you just feel like you don't have it. Like you don't have that little extra giddy up. You got to get past that, because you can still get people out without that extra. And sometimes if you last long enough in the game, it'll come back to you.
Here's Travis Snyder, grounded out to first base his first trip. Marte a base stealer at first, and Snyder takes a strike. I wonder too sometimes when you have a big strikeout game the way Matt did in his last start, batting 12, is there always a possibility of maybe leaving too much on the table?
I don't know if it's leaving too much on the table, but sometimes you go into the next game thinking that you've got to repeat that performance. That's part of it. So you give up an early hit, you're not devastated, but you can see he went to a little two-seamer there. But I think even more importantly, this team needs a win. This team needs a pitcher to go deep into the game. He definitely feels the weight of that on his shoulders.
Hasn't struck out a batter yet this afternoon. He's ahead on Snyder 0-2. Buck sets up away. Quite get his location, and Snyder fouled it back.
I was mentioning before that the hitters really tell you what kind of pop you have in your fastball. You talked about the swing and miss on his fastball. Not as much here today.
I think he's at 1 so far. He's averaging 28% of fastballs swung at have been missed, which is a very high number.
There goes Marte. It's hit through the vacated hole, a base hit. Marte goes on to third as Duda comes in to scoop it up. So a hit and run single for Travis Snyder. Tejada went to cover, and Snyder hit it right through the vacated hole.
I think you got to be very careful when you're calling who to cover, and Tejada's the one who calls it. He's covering. You got to locate what pitch it is. If it's a fastball away, you might want to rethink that. Hold your position and have the second baseman cover. Good job though by Snyder. Ball off the plate, just goes that way.
Now, ultimately, between shortstop and second baseman, who has the responsibility for making that call?
Well, since the second baseman kind of changed more than the shortstop, Tejada plays every day. Tejada would make that call.
So he's got to wait to see what pitch in what location before making the call?
Yep.
Here's McCutchen, first and third and 1 out. And he takes a slider high for ball 1. Marte at third, Snyder at first with 1 out. It's the first time this year that Harvey's gone the first time through the batting order without striking out a batter. So there's a telltale today. And again, missing away, 2-0. I
don't know if you've noticed, Gary, but Harvey taking a lot more time between pitches also. Doesn't have the same tempo, rhythm that he's had in his first 7 starts.
Now behind on a dangerous hitter, 2-0 to McCutchen. And he misses outside with a slider, and it's 3-0.
A tighter strike zone here for home plate umpire Andy Fletcher. From behind, everything looks in sync, and a great slider, looks like it's on the corner, but called away.
See if McCutchen would swing 3-0. He might have, but it was outside, and now the bases are loaded. Second walk of the inning issued by Harvey, who had walked only 12 batters through his first 7 starts, and Dan Warthen will pay him a rare visit.
You talk rare visit is indeed.
Can I tell you something? There is a stunned silence in this ballpark right now, because very few of these fans have ever seen Matt Harvey struggle before.
And it's going to happen. He's going to have a game where they gives up tons of runs too. But I think Dan Warthen is just trying to right the ship. I don't think there's too much mechanically that he's doing wrong. I think sometimes when you don't feel like you have your great stuff, you try to get where you start to try to pick the corners instead of going right after him. He's got to reverse it. Just be overly aggressive early in the count.
So now he's got a home run hitter, Garrett Jones, standing at the plate with the bases loaded and 1 out. Jones fouled out to first his first time up. Tie game, 3rd inning, bases loaded and 1 away. And time asked for by John Buck. It's been almost impossible to score against Harvey early in games. Trying to keep the Pirates to 1. And he starts Jones off with a changeup, and it misses for ball 1. Marte is at third, Snyder at second, and McCutchen at first. Lots of speed on the bases for the Pirates. Harvey would love to get a ground ball here from Jones, who's a guy you can double up. But he misses high with a fastball, and now he's missed with 6 in a row out of the strike zone. And it's 2-0. Jordy Mercer, who had 2 home runs yesterday, waiting on deck.
It's one of those moments where, as a pitcher, you probably grab it 2 seams. You hope it sinks a little bit, but you've got to catch a big part of the plate. Got to get Jones to swing here.
And he swings and flies one out to shallow right field. Tagging at third is Marte. He's got great speed. As Baxter makes the grab, Marte hits home, and the throw comes in a shade too late. It's a sacrifice fly for Garrett Jones, and the Pirates take the lead 2-1. 21st run batted in for Garrett Jones, and for Marte's 29th run scored.
Well, good job by these Pittsburgh Pirates hitters. Nice job of situational hitting by Jones. You can see with that uppercut, he's trying to drive the ball to the outfield, which he did. Nice job by Mike Baxter getting behind that baseball, but no way you're going to throw the runner out at home.
Snyder took third on the play. So now runners at the corners with 2 out. And Jordy Mercer coming up. Well, for a rare time, Matt Harvey is behind in a game. 62 innings pitched this year. He's been behind in only 5 of those 62 innings. Here's Mercer, who hit a comebacker his first time up. McCutcheon, 7 stolen bases and 8 tries this year.
Well, he's either runners. Of course, Marte is going to go back. Runner on second base. Snyder tags up. He's going to watch where the throw goes. Oh, he did not. He just was going all the way, 100%.
Scooped out by Buck.
You know, the best play there was what Baxter did. There's no way he's going to throw the runner out. Snyder, who's got great speed at third base, so you just throw it home, take a shot.
McCutcheon tagged up at first base on that play, but the throw low enough that it could have been cut off, so he couldn't advance. One and 0 to Jordy Mercer, and he popped it up. Murphy flips the glasses, and that retires the side. The Pirates get a pair. The home run by Barmes, the sac fly by Jones could have been a whole lot worse, but for this incredible play by Juan Lagares. The flip, the grab, the dive. Outstanding. To the bottom of the third before Ruben Tejada leads off. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin.
Well, great thing on Mother's Day, Gary. Major League Baseball has an initiative for the honorary Batgirl, and women around the country submit essays of why they should be women battling breast cancer. And Nicole Mulatto is the winner for the Mets today. From Toms River, New Jersey, Jersey Shore gal. I'm a little partial to that, guys, as you know. She's here today and diagnosed in 2011 with breast cancer and looking terrific. How do you feel, first of all?
I feel pretty good. I'm in treatment right now, but I'm able to live every day and do what I want to do and work full time, and I can't complain.
Now, you're not technically the back girl because you should be in the dugout, but you did get to bring out the lineup card and kind of get the behind-the-scenes tour. What's been the most fun thing for you? I know you're a big baseball fan.
I am. Just being on the field and being amongst the players and the coaches was pretty exciting, and being able to have my son down there with me was pretty awesome.
Now, we were talking, Mess, before the game. Terry Collins changed the lineup today. It's got it back to the original lineup. Did you offer any insights? Did you like this move, or how do you feel about this?
I think it's a good move. You got to mix it up every once in a while.
For you, come out today. There's a lot of moms at the ballpark. There's also, as a nice play at third by Alvarez, Tejada retired. There's also a lot of breast cancer survivors here. Is that an uplifting thing to reach these people and to be around people that have gone through the same thing that you have?
It absolutely is. I mean, I find every breast cancer survivor I've met is an amazingly strong woman, and I don't think people realize how strong they are until you go through something like this.
Now, you had to submit an essay to Major League Baseball that, obviously a lot of other women did the same thing, and you won. Tell me the theme about what you wrote about.
I basically tied it back to what it's like to be a Mets fan. I found that being a Mets fan really gave me a basis in my fight against cancer. Basically about resilience, and first of all, you got to believe. Second of all, the game's not over till the bottom of the ninth, so you never give up. And third of all, you just keep on going and you just keep working hard every day.
That is inspirational. Let me ask you one more thing. We were talking about a nice shot on the field with your family here, your beautiful family here. And Frank, your dad, was at the Johnny Padres 55 World Series game. Huge Dodger fan. So you had no choice. You were born and you were right into the baseball world, right?
Absolutely. And I was born in the Mets world, not the Yankees world.
Pretty evident by what's across your jerseys today.
That's right.
Well, you look great. Keep battling and keep feeling great. Okay, Nicole?
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Daniel Murphy drives one to deep left center. Marte back near the wall to grab it for the second out. So Murphy hitting it a long way into the opposite field. But Murph's 0 for continues, now 0 for 16.
Well, I know this doesn't sound good for you Met fans out there, but I could watch this Pirate defense in the outfield play every day. They just are so fast. Ball off the bat is a short double, and Marte makes it an easy out. What does Keith say? A can of corn.
Seen that from Marte. We've seen it from McCutchen. Of course, last year Travis Snyder made one of the most incredible plays we've ever seen in this ballpark, climbing the fence in right field. Here's David Wright, who banged one off the pitcher's foot that went for an out, as Alvarez was able to gun him down back in the first inning. So Gomez retired the first two, and Wright hits one out to left, and this one's easier for Marte. So it's a 1-2-3 inning, 6 pitches for John Mark Gomez to get through the bottom of the third. 2-1 Pittsburgh. Tonight, get a unique look into the inner workings of the Mets starting rotation, plus the impact Dylan G has made on one of the Mets' other starting pitchers on Mets Insider, presented by W.B. Mason, tonight at 6, only on SNY. Matt Harvey had one of his most difficult innings to date in the third, gave up a home run, a sacrifice fly, a couple of other hard hit balls, 2 walks in the inning, and now will face Pedro Alvarez to start the fourth.
You know, there's really 3 stages to when you're pitching without your best stuff. Early in your career, when it happens to you, it's kind of a shock, and you try to pitch avoiding contact. That's the wrong thing to do. Once you learn, then you get very aggressive later in your career, and when you don't have your good stuff, you're trying to get them out in 2 or 3 pitches. Let them put the ball in play, because you don't have the stuff to strike them out.
So what's the best way to go about doing that if you're a pitcher like Matt Harvey?
Get me over curveball, aggressive with your fastball. Do not look at corners, look it down. You know, as opposed to trying to pick the corners off, try to concentrate on keeping the ball down. Let them hit the ball on the ground. Try your luck that way. And then by the end of your career, the third phase, you can never avoid contact, because contact is happening all the time. So that's when you hang them up.
Harvey gave up a double to Alvarez his first time up. He drove the ball to right center field. That was the Pirates' first hit. Really struggling with his fastball command again. I mean, the velocity's not there. The command is not there.
His front shoulder for the first time this season, I saw it a couple times last year, is flying out. What does that mean? Well, it's clearing too quick to the Mets dugout side, so his arm's late.
That's the pop up. Right retreating, finds it, and gives way to Tejada, who had the better angle, and that's the first down. Nicely handled.
And what do I mean your arm's late? You can see it here, right? You can see that his hand's in front of his face. Here, on this side, later in the game, in the 4th inning here, it's even with his head. So what do I mean with the arm's late? When your arm is not late and in front of you, there's only one place the ball can go, and that's up and away to left-hander, up and in the right-hander. There's nowhere else it can go.
Here's Michael McHenry, who popped up his first time up. Now, is that something that, as a pitcher, you're aware of when you're doing it? Does it take somebody else to tell you that you're doing it?
No, you absolutely know you're doing it. You just feel lousy. You start talking to yourself. Come on, get the arm in front. Let's go, you know?
Oh, and McHenry is drilled by that 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Up and away to lefties, up and into righties. That's what's happening to Matt right now. And there's nowhere else that ball can go. Although McHenry didn't really do anything to get out of the way.
First batter that Harvey's hit this year. Of course, the Mets had a batter hit in the game yesterday, and it certainly was the continuation of a longer story involving Jordani Valdespin. And in no way, I don't think the Mets ever would need to retaliate for that, in case you were thinking about that. Clint Barmes homered his first time up, his second of the year. It was the first run for the Pirates today. So 2 walks, a hit batsman for Harvey, and yet no strikeouts. And he whips one outside. It's 2-0.
Boy, that was just a result of the first at bat by Barmes. Remember, he got behind him 1-0, came in with a fastball home run. Got behind him 1-0. He's going to try to be a little more careful with the fastball. End result, ball 2.
Not being forced to do a lot more conversing today. Nobody had to talk to him on Tuesday night. There was a time during the game when nobody would go near him. McHenry at first, a little faster than your average catcher. And Barmes takes a strike. Rippled on the outside corner at 96. It's 2-1. Slow ground ball right gets the force. Murphy tries for the turn, but it just wasn't hit hard enough to turn a double play. Instead, they settle for the 5-4 force on McHenry for the second out.
The grass in the infield really ate up that baseball. Nice try by Murph as he uses the bag. Watch what Murph does here. Instead of going across the bag, he goes the other way and kind of confuses McHenry. Nice attempt at the takeout slide by McHenry. And high fives around.
So with 2 out and a runner at first, the pitcher Jean-Marc Gomez will bat. He lined one to center field his first time up, and Juan Lagares tried to make a shoestring catch, and it turned into a spectacular catch as he uses the home run cut and misses. 0-1. Only the second time this year that Matt Harvey has given up more than a run in a game. Isn't that incredible in and of itself? I mean, think about it. 3 times in his 17 starts coming into today, he'd allowed 1 hit and pitched 7 or more innings. Today, showing a bit more of his human side. Here's the 0-2, and stopped by Buck on a hop on the slider. 1-2.
I know it's not his best game so far early here, but you know how you get signs from certain players that they're special? In spring training, I saw Matt Harvey. I went up to him. I said, "How you doing, big guy?" He goes, "Not great." I said, "Why?" He goes, "I really wanted to pitch opening day." It was the day that they announced John Neese was going to pitch opening day. I said, that's very interesting.
Well, it's kind of like how upset he was at being sent down last year in spring training when there wasn't a chance in the world that he was going to make the team. Even though his goals are outsized, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
Swing and a miss, and he has his first strikeout of the day as he gets the pitcher Gomez to end the top of the 4th. Now the Mets come up in the bottom of the 4th, down 2-1. They had 30 home runs in a season for both the Mets and the Pirates.
I think I got him. Well, I don't know.
I know I've got one. Yeah, I think I've got them both.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. One would be a player in the 60s and one in the 70s. No? No.
I think it's one in the 60s and one in the 90s.
Oh, 90s. Oh. Yes. Kind of still plays for the Mets.
It's on the payroll anyway. SNY Super Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. John Mark Gomez, in just his third start this year for the Pirates, has a 2-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the fourth. Ike Davis swung at the first pitch he saw and hit one to the edge of the warning track and left his first time up. It is Mother's Day, and all the players are being honored with their mother's names being mentioned on the scoreboard. Interesting shift this time for the Pirates. They've got 3 infielders on the right side, but keeping Alvarez more at home on the left side.
At least for the first pitch. Now he's moving over to the shortstop position, just in case Ike was thinking of bunting.
The Pirates have done more shifting against the Mets left-hand hitters than any team we've seen this season. They've shifted not only against Davis, but against Duda, against Baxter, and even to a certain extent against Murphy, which we have not seen much of this year. Of course, that's the trend in Major League Baseball. More and more teams are doing more and more shifting.
Well, nice at bat here by Ike. There's been a couple of pitches that have been close that he has taken. And I think when you go up against Gomez, that's got to be a plan of your approach. Make him throw strikes.
And there's one.
This guy just really fits nicely into Ike's swing. He's a sinker ball pitcher, likes the ball out over the plate, right into the strengths of Ike.
Lucas Duda, who homered his first time up, is on deck, and then John Buck. He's going to get himself a 3-1 changeup here. And a strike, 3-2. We threw a 3-1 fastball to Duda. That didn't work well for Gomez, so McHenry went a different direction this time.
The hard slider after the changeup. Ike was on it. Good swing.
Here's a 3-2, and Davis grounds it into the shift. The shortstop Barmes throws him out from the right side, and Gomez has now retired 6 in a row. Well, we alluded to it in the last half inning about Jordani Valdespin getting hit by a pitch yesterday. It goes back to Friday night when he homered with the Mets down 7-1, lingered, admired, flipped the bat, and everybody noticed, and including the Pirates, and then Brian Morris yesterday drilling him. And not unexpectedly, Valdespin not getting a whole lot of support as he came into the dugout after that inning. And it stood to reason that everybody wanted to talk to Valdespin about it after the game, but Jordani declined to speak to the media, and that left the Mets captain, David Wright, to address the situation. And you know, you and I spoke privately after the game about how David was going to have to get involved in this situation as the captain, as Duda grounds one down to first. And not unexpectedly, David did a great job handling it, and I thought was very diplomatic in what he had to say.
The Pirates could have taken it, you know, one way yesterday. And, you know, I think Jordani understands that. And, you know, he's got guys in here, and you know, we support him. We you know, help him, and it's a learning process. You know, you know what you're getting in Jordani, and that's a very talented player who, you know, has obviously a knack for getting those big hits, and you know, sometimes shows you know, that kind of charisma and flair. And you know, I think that you know, that upsets some people, and you know, whether you know, you think it was, you know, right or wrong, you know, it is what it is, and I'm sure you know, Jordani understands that also, that you know, some people take exception to, you know, kind of watching home runs and you know, walking down to first base.
Well, I will say this. You and I talked about that he was very important that David, he's got to see. It's not on his jersey, but he's got to be the guy to take care of that, because all the coaching staff and others have tried and it's not worked out. And David, good words there. That being said, I think the problem is he is not aware, Valdespino, what's going on. And if you watch him get hit in that game, he had no idea he was going to be hit. If you watch that, he gets hit in the arm. Anytime you know you're going to get hit, what do? You turn your back to the pitcher, so he's going to hit you in the numbers. You don't open up like he did. So that's the problem, is that I don't think he knows exactly what's going on.
That's down 1-2-3 in the fourth. And the Pirates lead 2-1 as we head to the fifth.
What's going on. So they threw at him. I knew they might, but and then it's part of the game. You got to go up there and do what he did, and I respect him the way he went to handle it and went to first, and he'll be ready to play again.
That is Terry Collins addressing Jordani Valdespino, getting hit by the Pirates' Brian Morris yesterday. And it's going to be interesting to hear what Jordani has to say if and when he decides to speak about it. He declined to do that after the game yesterday. Did not speak to reporters before the game today either. And I don't know if the thing's going to just dive its own weight or whether there'll be more conversation about that today.
Yeah, and a solitary man in the dugout now.
Here's Starling Marte, who's grounded out and walked, facing a struggling Matt Harvey, who throws a first pitch breaking ball and gets a strike. Harvey has walked 2. He has struck out only 1, hit a batter, allowed 2 runs and 3 hits, including a Clint Barmas home run. Corners in against Marte, who can lay one down. And he fouls off the fastball, and it's 0-2.
We spent so much time talking before his last start about Matt Harvey and how much rest he had. Well, certainly on his day today, the normal 4 days rest.
As he will be in his next start, which will be his first encounter with Wrigley Field.
You can see the first and fifth inning now. We've got to look at both. A little higher arm angle in the first, a little lower in the fifth. His body a little crunched over here in the fifth inning. Pretty close, though, and that's what you want to see.
Pulled toward the bag and just foul.
More breaking pitches here in the fifth to Marte.
Well, Marte is such an aggressive hitter. We've seen that throughout this series, even though he walked his first time up today.
I want to see Met pitchers start pitching Marte because they're going to face him a lot. Snyder on deck is up and in. We've not seen him go after him up and in. Try there.
Marte right now leading the National League in base hits with 48. Just got a piece of that. Buck getting a little exasperated. What do you want to throw?
The new game plan today so far.
And Marte strikes out with changeup by Harvey. His second strikeout of the day.
That's why it took so long to get to that pitch, Gary, is that he does not throw a changeup to a right-hander very often. So that's why it took Buck a while to get to that call.
So 1 out and nobody on. Let's check in with Kevin.
You know, as we watch Matt Harvey pitch, obviously guys every day are throwing their bullpen side sessions too. Dylan G threw that side session today. And, you know, the interesting thing about it is Dan Warthen trying something a little bit different this year with the guys. They are kind of watching as a group. It doesn't work all the time because obviously different guys have different things going on. But generally, you know, today when Dylan G threw his bullpen, a couple of Met starters were out there watching alongside. Why? Well, a couple things. Dylan G said, you know, I love doing it personally for a lot of reasons. I like just watching the different guys throw. A guy like Harvey, his bullpens are impressive, but it's a visualization thing for me, first of all. It's nice to see, you know, a sinker and see the action, you know, at the end and just watch what guys are doing in certain situations. We talk about that as a group out there. You know, the other thing is it's support. Nice to have your teammates out there while you're throwing. I asked him if he had gotten anything in particular in recent sessions that, you know, related to something that could really help him. He said, you know what, actually today Sean Markham gave me something pretty good. He said, you know, I'm watching you, and he was sitting with Dan Warthen and said, you know, your curveball and your slider, your delivery is very, very compact, but then your changeup and your fastball, you're a lot longer through the zone. And Dylan said, you know what, my changeup's been sailing on me. Maybe that's the reason why. Something I have to take a look at, guys.
Snyder lifts one along the line, and Duda has to negotiate the stands and goes into that slide, and the ball out of play. Well, it makes sense, Ronnie, right? I mean, who knows more about pitching than other pitchers as you look at Duda making that effort?
Well, there's a couple of things in my day that used to help is that you'd get a hitter to stand in there. That would help. And the second thing is that I think I've said this a few times. Hopefully you're not bored by it. Is that Mel Stoudemire used to catch us in the bullpen, and he would get a good feel on the break of the pitch or the sinking of the fastball, and that seemed to really help also.
Harvey's 3-2 to Snyder, and he foul tipped it, strike 3. 3 consecutive strikeouts for Harvey, who went 4 2/3 without a single one.
Well, it's nice to see the fastball, even though it's down the middle, by Snyder. You know what I said before? If you stay around long enough, sometimes your stuff will come back to you. And maybe that's happening for that compact motion by Harvey right now. You really see how far he almost reaches back to the center fielder.
Now McCutchen takes the first pitch breaking ball outside. McCutchen has grounded out and walked today, 0 for 1. Matt Harvey has not allowed a hit in the 5th inning this season. Hitters are now 0 for 23 against Matt with 1 walk in the 5th inning.
The numbers that you keep coming up with, they're just extraordinary.
McCutchen trying to break that up. Hits it sharply and off the glove of Tejada. Yeah, Ruben going nicely to his left that time, but unable to come up with that one. And they'll give McCutchen credit for a base hit.
Oh, he has to. That ball was a bullet by McCutchen. See how where Tejada stands? Most shortstops stand back like maybe even a foot on the grass and come just on the dirt. Tejada's different. He plays about 4 or 5 steps in, so that ball beats him up the middle.
So a 2-out single for McCutchen, the 4th hit for the Pirates this year, and the first hit for anybody in the 5th inning off Harvey this season. Garrett Jones with a sacrifice fly his last time up, pops up the first one he sees this time, and David Wright comes down to call, and he and Buck come together. Wright got the worst of it, but Buck got the ball, which is really all that matters in the end.
Maybe not to David.
Oh, that somebody caught the ball. Catch is supposed to give way, isn't it?
Tomorrow, get a recap of this weekend's Mets-Pirates series with insider info and exclusive interviews. Plus, hear the latest in New York sports as Chris Carlin and Adam Shine debate the top stories of the day on Loudmouths, presented by Caesars Atlantic City. Now at a new time, tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. only on SNY. Mike Baxter leads off in the home 5th inning with the Mets down 2-1. Baxter drew a walk his first time up, facing Jean-Marc Gomez, who went 5 scoreless in his last start against the Mariners, threw only 66 pitches in that game before he was pulled. Today, right at 55 pitches as he works in the 5th inning. So we'll see whether he gets a little more rope from pitching coach Ray Searage and the Pirate manager Clint Hurdle. And Baxter takes inside 2-0.
That's a great time. See how far Alvarez is off the line and backing up 2-0. Well, this is a good pitch to hit. But if Baxter's not able to put it in play, you could roll a bunt down there easily to start this inning. It's a gimme hit.
Grounded to the right side. And Jones makes the flip to Gomez, one away. Well, we were talking about the increasing tendency of teams to shift. And it's one thing if you're going to shift against a guy who's a big power hitter, because sometimes you don't really mind if you were to lay down that bunt. You'd rather have that than the home run. But when you get a guy like Baxter who's not a power hitter, the bunt is a great play.
I bet you, and I'm going to ask him tomorrow, I bet you that Mike Baxter was definitely thinking about it there.
Here's Juan Lagares. Meanwhile, Jean-Marc Gomez has now retired 9 Mets in a row. Lagares grounded into a fielder's choice his first time up. And he drops down a bunt, but foul. Matt Harvey waiting on deck. Might not be too long until his running mate, Zach Wheeler, gets here. Zach had his 3rd straight outstanding start for Las Vegas last night against Albuquerque. He went 7 1/3, 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 99 pitches. His last 3 starts now, Wheeler 2-0, 1.35.
That couple of Mets old sages down there to watch him, right?
Well, Guy Conti, who I think everybody in the organization has tremendous respect for, told Terry Collins in a phone conversation after Wheeler started last night that what especially impressed him beyond the numbers were his composure and his demeanor on the mound. And strike 3 called as Lagares is out on strikes. And Terry made the point that earlier this season those things were very much in question with Wheeler when he was struggling. And you know, obviously success breeds confidence, but you want a pitcher not only to perform well but exude the confidence that he's going to need to succeed at this level.
Well, think about it with Matt Harvey coming up to bat. What do people say about Matt Harvey? They definitely mention his stuff, but they talk about his composure and confidence. That's part of it.
So now the question is, how much longer does Wheeler have to wait? At a point where the Mets are desperate for somebody to fulfill a number 2, a number 3 niche in that rotation, with Neese struggling and G unable to put together a consistent stretch. What do you do? Do you bring him up right now? Do you wait another start to see whether he can do it again? Is 3 times in a row enough? And I guess the other question is, are the two related at all? I mean, they've said all along that the need of the major league club is not going to dictate when Wheeler gets called up. But the point we've reached now is where the need is there, and it appears some consistency of performance is there as well.
Well, I've always said that I think it's going to be later than sooner. Only because they have a test case in Matt Harvey, don't they? When you think about it, Harvey was brought up probably later than sooner, and he has excelled. I'm sure that thought has gone into Wheeler also.
Harvey chops one, and Gomez has to wait for it to come down. Then makes a soft toss to first and barely gets him.
That was odd. But Harvey is out. And Gomez is now retired 11 in a row. 5 in the books. 2-1 Pittsburgh. There's your 5th inning recap presented by your Tri-Honda dealer. Matt Harvey gave up a couple of runs in the 3rd inning. He has not been his dominant self today, but here he is into the 6th inning, only down 2-1. Lucas Duda with a home run for the Mets run, and John Mark Gomez has retired 11 in a row after that inning. Harvey at 79 pitches through 5. He'll take on Jordy Mercer to lead off in the 6th.
Well, you can see that graphic there. Very aggressive with the fastball, but you know, even though he threw 8 of the first 9 batters with fastballs, they weren't in the strike zone. So now has gone to the breaking pitch.
And even early on when he was throwing first pitch fastballs, he was still throwing a lot of breaking stuff early in the game.
Sometimes you're just trying to muddle through your own inconsistencies out there until you find an answer.
He retired the first 5 before he gave up a double to Pedro Alvarez, and then had a very difficult 3rd when he gave up 2 runs. Been able to hold the Pirates off the board with a base runner in each of the last 2 innings. Jordy Mercer has hit a comebacker and popped up to the second baseman 0 for 2 a day after hitting 2 home runs. He tops one down to 3rd, and Wright waits on it. Makes the quick throw, and just in time to get Mercer one away. Let's head to the studio for this game break and check in with Gary Apple, presented by your Tri-Honda dealer. Ryan Zimmerman with that long hit, but yesterday the other side of Zimmerman's game continues to be a big concern as Vin Mazzaro gets up in the Pirates bullpen.
Well, he had an operation on his shoulder, but before even that, Ryan suffered through throwing pains. I mean, he's right in the middle of it. So throwing on the run, he's fine. When he thinks about it, not so much.
He had a big error yesterday, cost Steven Strasburg 4 unearned runs.
Well, we're just charting for you folks at home. Is he repeating his motion? Here we now are in the 6th inning. Yeah, pretty much so. It's nice to see. He's throwing better now than he was in the 1st.
That arm was a little lower, maybe 2nd, 3rd inning.
He's gotten back on top, as they say.
Facing Pedro Alvarez, who's loved to be back home in New York. 1 for 2 today, 5 for 9 in this series. And Alvarez takes a strike, and for Pedro, things have improved vastly after a very difficult start. Michael McHenry on deck. Alvarez, who grew up in Washington Heights and went to Horace Mann up in Riverdale, grounds one up the first baseline, a foul ball. He's in that pantheon of some of the greatest schoolboy players ever to come out of New York City.
He was the New York schoolboy player of baseball that year, right? Manny Ramirez went to that same high school, right?
Sean Dunston, Lou Gehrig. Alvarez strikes out. That's 4 strikeouts for Matt Harvey.
Well, coming inside here, this ball ends up in the middle of the plate, but up, and throws it by him.
Did we mention Sandy Koufax?
That's right.
John Franco, Lee Mazzilli, Joe Torre. There have been a few over the years.
Wow.
2 out and nobody on. Here's Michael McHenry, who has popped up and been hit by a pitch. 0 for 1. Well, when Matt began the season, he was getting plenty of run support. Won his first 4 starts. Since then, the Mets have stopped hitting, even for Harvey, and he hasn't had a win in 3 starts. And only 1 run for him so far today. McHenry taking all the way. It's an odd thing to do on 1-0.
Yep. Well, the run support has dried up here at home for everyone because the Mets offense has dried up. Brownout, you called it yesterday, right?
Well, that's why when Duda hit the home run in the 2nd inning, Harvey had every reason to think that he needed to make that run stand up. So far, that's the only one he's got. Tejada to his right, makes the backhand pick and throws out McHenry. Side retired. First 1-2-3 inning for Harvey since the first. So he seems to be back on his game now. The Mets need to get him some runs. The SNY Play Bowl Award helped the Copeg Youth League recover from the storm with a $5,000 grant. If you're in a league from the tri-state area in need of assistance, apply for the SNY Play Bowl Award presented by New York Community Bank at facebook.com/SNY. Well, the Pirates are going to go to their bullpen. We talked about Jeanmar Gomez and the fact that he had not thrown many pitches, 66 in his last start. They pull him after 65 pitches in a very successful stint today.
You thought they would try to at least get one more inning out of him, but going to Mazzaro has pitched nicely in this series, a couple of scoreless innings.
Ruben Tejada leads off and takes a strike from Mazzaro, who pitched on Friday night. Gave up just one hit, and that was to Tejada. Ruben just 2 for 15 in this series. His average down to 238. And takes inside from Mazzaro, a little harder thrower than Gomez. The lefty Justin Wilson gets up in the Pirates bullpen. Mets have Murphy and Davis and Duda all looming in the batting order. Tejada waving at the slider, and it's 1-2. So Gomez went 5 innings, allowed 1 run and 2 hits, walked 1, struck out 3, gave up the home run to Duda, but retired his last 11 batters.
This reminds me a little bit of that game that you guys were broadcasting where Mike Minor went through 18 in a row and then took him out of the ball game.
Ben Mazzaro, who grew up in the shadow of Giant Stadium in Rutherford, New Jersey. 26 years old, acquired from Kansas City in a minor league deal this past winter. So Alvarez not the only guy coming back home for this series. And Tejada stays alive. Murphy on deck, right behind him. Mets have had just 2 hits today. They had just 7 yesterday. They haven't scored more than 3 runs in any game on this homestand. 3-2, and Tejada's aboard. So the Mets get the leadoff man on for the first time today. And that gets Clint Hurdle to studying his charts.
That's a big walk there for the Mets. See if they can turn that into a few runs.
You know, it's getting so that the dugout walls aren't large enough to support all the charts that teams bring with them.
You're right. Look at that.
And that's less than some teams.
Nice to see.
Here's Murphy, 0 for 2 today. Hit one to the fence in left field that Marte caught his last time up.
It's nice to see we're taking a little longer view of the charts today. Nice.
Alvarez in on the grass at third, but everybody else turned a bit to the right against Murphy. Big hole on the left side of that infield. Tejada, not a base stealer. He's got 2 this year, but he'll generally steal them when you're not expecting him to.
Well, they saw John Buck steal one, so they're a little nervous.
Well, the Mets seem to have an idea that they could run against Gomez. Not sure Mazzaro has quite as slow a time to the plate as Gomez did. Murphy right now battling an 0 for 16 skid.
What does Keith always say? When you're in a slump, sometimes put on the hit and run. We saw the Pirates do it earlier with Snyder. Tough on an 0-1 count, but it's something you can do if Murphy gets deeper into the count.
Mazzaro spending a lot of time concerned about Tejada. Now an 0-1. Murphy takes low inside. McHenry almost fired it down the line. They are treating Ruben Tejada like he's Ricky Henderson. One and 1 to Murphy with right on deck. And time call.
Boy, very emphatic by the home plate umpire Andy Fletcher. You like to hear that. It's the guys that wait till the last minute you don't like.
Murphy fouls away the fastball. The ball and 2 strikes. Now on 1-2, Murphy gets all tied up on the slider, and he goes down swinging. That's the first out of the inning.
Well, fastball and changeups away, and once he got ahead, the slider running in on the hands of Murphy. This is a pitch when he's going good, doesn't swing it.
Well, right now, Murphy in a very difficult slump. Now David Wright has gone 0 for 2 today. Mets struggling with their offense in a series against the Pirates, who have a decent pitching staff, and heading into the belly of the beast tomorrow, facing the Cardinals, who may have the best pitching staff. Certainly their starters. Swing and a miss. The last 2 days, Shelby Miller and Adam Wainwright combining to retire 40 Colorado Rockies in a row. At one stretch, the Rockies went 0 for 49. And that's a pretty good Colorado lineup. Gary Collins talking to Daniel Murphy about that last at bat. And Wright swings and misses the fastball. The one caveat with the Cardinals is they just put Jake Westbrook on the disabled list with elbow inflammation. He had gotten off to a great start. He was supposed to pitch against the Mets on Tuesday. Lazaro ahead 0-2, and he can't get right to chase the slider. There are the city probables for the series. I thought maybe that they'd move Carlos Martinez into that start Tuesday. He's their top pitching prospect. He's been pitching out of the bullpen, but they bring up John Gast instead. Lance Lynn goes tomorrow night, Shelby Miller Wednesday, and Adam Wainwright Thursday against the Mets. We'll have Jeremy Hefner open the series tomorrow night. Here's the 1-2, and Wright boops one in foul ground. Jones over for a look, but that's in the crowd. The other guy I thought they might call up to make that start is the guy we saw in spring training, Michael Wacha.
I haven't seen what kind of start he's gotten off to, but yeah, good start.
Yep.
He is just the real deal. He's got all 4 pitches, and he looked outstanding in spring.
So the Cardinals, despite letting Kyle Loesch walk at the end of last year, losing Chris Carpenter, still very well fortified in their rotation.
That's probably why they let Loesch walk.
Meanwhile, Carpenter threw 75 pitches in a bullpen session on Friday. He might be coming back. Everybody thought he might be done. Here's the 1-2, and Wright takes just off the plate. 2-2.
Well, that's a good take by David. Close pitch there. It's the first at bat in a while that I've seen David. It almost looks like he's trying to hit the ball over the fence at this at bat, you know, trying to get something started.
That's needs something. Davis waiting on deck. 2-2 from Mazzaro. Driven to left field. Marte, though, moving back and grabs it at the edge of the track. And David hit it hard to hot it back to first, and there are 2 away.
Hit it right on the nose, just didn't get it up in the air.
So 2 out for Ike, who's flying deep to left and grounded to short 0 for 2, and they'll put the full shift on against him. Pirates are going to meet at the mound, and we may get a pitching change. They've got the lefty in the bullpen, and so Clint Hurdle's going to make the move here and make a double switch. So the call to the bullpen brought to you by Verizon Fios. Justin Wilson comes in for the Pirates, who lead 2-1 in the 6th. left-hander Justin Wilson on the pitch. He'll bat fifth.
He looked pretty impressive in yesterday's ball game, pitching the 8th inning, striking out a couple.
The world is hitting 121 against Justin Wilson. Lefties just 1 for 15 against him, but Ike Davis will stay in to face him. And they have the full shift on against Ike. Might be a nice time to lay down that bunt. The whole left side completely open. And Ike takes a strike from Wilson, 0-1.
Well, a week ago, in this situation, you saw Justin Turner sent up the bat for Ike Davis, but he's your 4th place hitter. You're looking for him to hit a 2-run home run here.
Wilson, who was a starting pitcher throughout the minor leagues for the Pirates, called up late last season. He's also a starting pitcher when he won the championship game of the College World Series back in 08 for Fresno State. And the curveball, that's in for a strike, and it's 1-2. That was impressive.
Big, huge hook. Starts right at the back of Ike Davis and bends over the middle of the plate. Andy Fletcher picking up a piece of paper that's in front of the plate and littering, throwing it away.
Well, it was already littering.
Oh, okay.
He was re-littering. Tejada drew a leadoff walk, still at first with 2 out.
Probably going to see another breaking ball. This one probably in the dirt. No, he's shaking up. Probably going with fastball now.
And he gets Davis on the foul tip. Side retired. So Wilson comes in to strike out Ike. And the Mets strand Tejada at first. 2-1 Pittsburgh after 6. Let's answer our AT&T trivia question. Only players hit 30 or more in a season for the Mets and Pirates. I got Frank Thomas and Bobby Bonilla. There you go.
I didn't have either, really.
Frank Thomas was the big bopper on those 62 Mets.
You know, my guess was, I'm just so awful at this stuff anyway, was Clendenin and Milner.
Clendenin.
He only played like part of that season at 69.
Well, he had a couple more years after that, but he never hit 30 for the Mets. Not sure Milner hit 30 for anybody, but he was more of a double hitter.
Yeah.
Clint Barmes leads off in the 7th against Matt Harvey. Barmes opened the scoring for the Pirates today with an unlikely home run, his second of the year. Harvey gave up another run in that third inning, and right now that's enough to beat him. Barmes reaches for one, fouls it off.
I know Matt Harvey's last start raised his major eyebrows, just outstanding, top of his game. But for someone like me that did this for a living a long time ago, this might be more impressive. Without his best stuff, into the seventh.
Barmes lines one into right field for a base hit. So with 2 strikes, taking it to right field, Barmes has his second hit of the day.
Not a great choice here. You can see the tracking the first and seventh inning again. He's got that arm back up where he wanted to be. I think the choice of pitches there, though, on 0-2 with that high fastball, that's something that hasn't worked all day.
So now the leadoff man on for the Pirates. Brandon Inge up for the first time, came into the double switch in the last inning. Barmes played third base yesterday, went 2 for 4.
See a bunt here?
Popped it up. Murphy with the angle. Baxter coming on, and Murphy reaching out in foul ground to get it. Murph just kept on going.
Nice play by Murph, tracking it. Has those flip shades on, but doesn't need to flip them.
Running away from the sun.
Yeah.
Still think flip down sunglasses are the coolest thing in the world. One out and one on. Now Starling Marte, who is 0 for 2. He's also walked and scored a run. Scott Rice up in the Mets bullpen. Harvey at 95 pitches as he works in the 7th inning. Harvey has averaged 7 innings a start this year, which is pretty spectacular in this day and age.
In most pitchers you see it's 6 point something, but over 7 innings coming into this start.
Marte dribbles one off the end of the bat. Harvey's going to take it himself and beats Marte into the bag for the second out. Down to second goes Barmes.
That was a strange play by Ike. Once he realized he wasn't going to make the play, he had to hustle back over to first base. Harvey wasn't sure he was going to get there, so he took it himself.
So 2 out of the inning. Barmes in scoring position. This is a big batter in this game because the way the Mets have struggled to score runs, and as good as the back end of the Pirates bullpen has been, 1 run will be difficult enough for them to overcome. 2 might be too much. Travis Snyder 1 for 3 on the day. Single to left on a hit and run play back in the 3rd. And takes the changeup up and away for ball 1. Harvey has struck out 4. He's walked 2. Both those walks came back in the 3rd. And he runs that fastball in. 1-1. Haven't seen a lot of those 97s today. Yeah. It's been a lot of 93s and 94s. So Harvey working without his best fastball, and for a while there without his best command. But now about to throw his 100th pitch of the day, and still in a 1-run ball game. And changeup misses. 2-1 to Snyder.
We haven't seen much today, but this would be a fantastic place for him to get back into the account with that good curveball that he throws for a strike to lefty. Snyder's got to be sitting on the fastball.
Gets the fastball, but can't find it, and it's 2-2. Now the throw down to second, and Buck picks off Barmes to end the inning. Barmes just unaware, and he's picked off. Buck was aware. That gets Harvey through the top of the 7th.
Verizon Fios quantum internet technology that makes you feel superhuman. That's powerful. By your Tri Honda dealer. Hurry to your local Tri Honda dealer for great deals on the 2013 models. And by Diet Mountain Dew. Yeah, it tastes that good. Tomorrow night, the Mets open a 4-game series in St. Louis against the Cardinals. It'll be Jeremy Hefner for the Mets, Lance Lynn going for St. Louis. Our coverage begins tomorrow at 6 o'clock right here on SNY. And for more on the Cardinals, let's check in with Kevin.
Well, there are a couple of stats that really stand out at you from the Cardinals sense. First of all, hitting with runners in scoring position. They are far and away better than anyone in the league. 322, their average in that category. That's number one by a long shot. They've turned 41 double plays in that middle infield of Pete Kozma and Matt Carpenter has been very, very good, solid defensively. But you look at the Cardinals, and Gary, you talked about their starting pitching. Their bullpen, every year, it seems like no matter who they put in there, it just works. I was talking to a scout today. He said the amazing thing about the Cardinals is, to me, their philosophy. How they take their young guys and they throw them in the pen, and then these guys just let it go. And they fire gas, and it works. And then it doesn't affect their ability to become good starters. He said you look at Adam Wainwright, you look at Lance Lynn. You talked about Carlos Martinez, their top pitching prospect who's up there now. Seth Maness just came up recently. He was their organizational pitcher of the year last year. How about Trevor Rosenthal? We saw him last year in the playoffs. He's a converted shortstop. He's throwing 100-mile-an-hour gas and a huge part of the back end of their bullpen now. Duda squares the bunt. Then, of course, the closer's Edward Mujica, who never had success closing games. He's 9 of 9 in saves this year. This Cardinals bullpen has been terrific. The way they've gone about it, their philosophy is so different, but for them, it's worked. And what the scout told me, the one thing about all those guys, if there's secondary pitches, they throw them for strikes. Gary?
And what you're saying is their bullpen's been really good lately because it started off horribly and they weren't afraid to make changes. They took a couple of guys who've been in the big leagues for a few years, Mitchell Boggs and Mark Zevchinski, and they sent them both to the minor leagues, which you don't see a lot of organizations do so precipitously. They lost Jason Mott for the season, and they were able to retool on the run and get it the way they wanted. And here they are now with the best record in the National League.
Well, Boggs' ERA was over 12. Zepchinski's over 7 when they were sent down.
I mean, to have 3 main cogs in your bullpen, they weren't expecting to lose Mott, and to have those other 2 guys struggle, and they were able to cut bait quickly and make it work.
Yeah, and I think the double play thing is interesting too. I mean, they lose for Kyle and Kozma, who did a nice job last year for them in the playoffs. I think Carpenter has barely any experience at second base to this year. They throw him over. They're worried about him. They've been a solid punch up the middle for them.
Duda goes down on strikes, so Wilson came in, struck out Davis. Now strikes out Duda to start the 7th.
And the same pitch, just fastball away, throws it right by Duda as he did with Ike Davis.
And that'll earn him the right to stay in to face the right-hand batter, John Buck.
Cardinals are one of those organizations. I don't have any rhyme or reason. When you put on that uniform, you are, I don't know, you become a winner or whatever. I don't know what it is, but nothing expected less than winning.
And they've been able to take players, as Brandon Lyon gets up in the Mets bullpen, and move them around to places where you might expect they'd be uncomfortable and struggle. Like Matt Carpenter, perfect example. They've made a second baseman out of him.
But in the minor leagues, they made him play a lot of different positions. And so when he came to the major leagues, he had versatility. They did it with Skip Schumacher. They brought him in from the outfield, made him a second baseman.
Ball and a strike to Buck with Mike Baxter on deck.
You know, what team loses one year? Carpenter, Pujols, and their soon-to-be Hall of Fame manager, and they still go to the playoffs.
And pitching coach.
And pitching coach.
2 balls and a strike to Buck. Well, it has also helped that Carlos Beltran continues to hit. John Jay has emerged as a solid center fielder.
Molina's hitting .476 in an 11-game hitting streak. That doesn't hurt.
Well, you know, to me, he's one of the best players in the league, regardless of position. When you factor in the defense, he's just become a tremendous force in this game. Two and two to Buck. I mean, David Freese hasn't hit, but everybody else on that team has. And then you've got the, Grizzly Adams off the bench.
Yeah, that's right, Matt Adams. Well, listen, you needed a a real good player to get Zach Wheeler, and we talk about him all the time, but Beltran's hit 48 home runs since he's left the Mets. It's a lot of pop.
That's a great tribute to Carlos, too.
Yeah.
Because, you know, as well as he played for the Mets, the 4 months before he left 2 years ago, he didn't know how much time he had left. And he has, he's not the player that he once was, but he's a pretty good imitation of him.
He's also playing 145 games a year.
Curveball outside the Buck, and it's 3-2 with Baxter waiting on deck. By the way, Gio Gonzalez has 6 scoreless innings, 2 hits against the Cubs today, 1-0 Nats.
Every day there's another amazing performance, sometimes 2.
Curveball sits high, ball 4, and Buck is on with a 1-out walk. So Wilson, who struck out the 2 left-hand hitters, walks the right-hand batter. Now we'll get another lefty in Baxter, who has faced very little left-handed pitching.
You find it interesting that Marlon Byrd's not hitting here?
I think that Terry's kind of made a decision. He's going to go with what he considers to be his best lineup and stick with it regardless.
Just watching Wilson go through Davis and Duda doesn't bode very well for the left-handed hitting Baxter.
Baxter's had 6 at-bats against lefties this year, and he's 2 for 6.
Okay.
So see how he fares here against Wilson. Baxter is 0 for 1 today. He's walked and grounded out. And Mike has that one go off the bat and into the glove.
Yeah, I thought it hit him there for a second because it made that sound, but it got the end of the bat, the knob.
And off the knob. It'll chip some of the pink paint. Juan Lagares on deck. Mets have had just 2 hits today. And that one goes to the backstop, rebounds out to Wilson, and Buck goes to second. It came hard off that backstop, and Buck able to advance to second with the tying run on the wild pitch.
Remember when you were a kid, you had that pitch back in the backyard? Well, that's what you get right here, right over the head, and the mask, off the mask of Andy Fletcher, off the brick, and back to Wilson.
That was like Jordan against Bird. Off the glove, off the mask, rebound off the backstop, off the moon, and into the bucket. Meaning at the mound is Ray Searage is out there. Well, it's funny, right before that pitch, our statistician Dave Freed handed me a note telling me that John Buck, in case we were wondering, has never stolen 2 bases in 1 game.
Wow.
He didn't have to steal second this time. Maybe he'll steal third.
Well, it's great that you're getting those notes. He just gave me a note. Carmelo Anthony, 6 for 16. What does that mean?
He's had a long week.
Okay.
Buck has had a very active day, by the way. He has the stolen base. He has a takedown on David Wright. And now
threw out Barmes at second base.
Pick off at second. So he's been frisky today. Now Baxter trying to get him home. 1-1 to Mike with 1 out. And Wilson pops that outside corner, and it's 1-2. Justin Turner, helmet on, ready to go if needed. One-two to Baxter. A little fist job into shallow left, and falls for a base hit. Here comes Buck to score, and the Mets have tied it up. Baxter against the left-hander, dunks one to the left to get the game even. It's 2-2.
Well, shame on me. Terry Collins is right here. The little breaking ball from Wilson. It jams Baxter, but strong enough to just loop this into left field. And really, you need this kind of hit probably to score John Beck from second base. Something hits soft that allows him to get around third base and score.
Buck showing off his wheels all day long. And the Mets draw back even.
Now Baxter the tie-breaking run at first.
Now Baxter can steal a base.
Juan Lagares, the batter, 0 for 2 today. And Wilson checks in on Baxter, who has 1 stolen base this year. Just the 3rd hit of the day for the Mets. Baxter now 6 hits in his last 9 at bats. Producing in the starting lineup today. And Lagares slashes one back into the seats. Justin Turner on deck to pinch hit for Matt Harvey. So Harvey's gone 7, and it may be his only chance to get a win today is right here. Of course, if the Mets get a lead, it may be Harvey to bat. Or it could be that Turner's just a decoy in any event. We'll see. Brian Morris, who pitched yesterday, back up in the Pittsburgh bullpen.
Brian Morris comes in. Valdespin might get some revenge.
Or he might get hit again.
No.
You never know.
Lagares waiting. There goes Baxter. McHenry's throw. Not in time. Baxter steals a base.
I can't tell you how much I enjoy this kind of baseball. Left-hander keeping him close. A peek in from Baxter there, but pushing the envelope, being aggressive. The fake bunt here by Lagares takes it back, just makes it a little more difficult for McHenry to throw that baseball.
2nd stolen base of the year for Baxter. Now the lead run in scoring position. A 1-1 count to Lagares. Lyon and Rice ready in the bullpen. But Harvey might continue on if the Mets can get him a lead here. And Lagares thinking about a bunt, which is not a good play in this spot. And he takes a strike.
Young person's mistake here.
You're up there to drive in the run. Swing the bat, says Terry. Now Lagares finds himself in a 1-2 hole. And the breaking ball bounced foul.
Just watching Mike Baxter there. He's starting to try to get the measure of Wilson there. Will he steal 3rd also?
Mets have been taking liberties on the bases all day. Buck with a stolen base in the 2nd inning. Lagares was running in the 2nd when he probably shouldn't have with Harvey at the plate. But nonetheless, Pirate pitchers have been a little slow to the plate today. Look at Baxter.
And you know, you probably don't do that against their #1 catcher, Russell Martin, who has a great arm, and no one's thrown out more base runners than Russell Martin since he's come into the league.
McHenry has not thrown out a base runner yet this season. 0 for 9. Of course, some of that can be on the pitchers.
A walk, a wild pitch, and a bloop single have produced a run. There goes Baxter. Lagares swings and misses. McHenry's throw is not in time. Baxter steals 3rd, but Lagares strikes out for the 2nd out. Chasing a pitch out of the strike zone.
Well, Lagares wasted that 1 strike on that attempted bunt, and when he took that pitch. But Baxter, again, being aggressive on 3rd base for Justin Turner.
So with the Mets unable to grab the lead, Terry Collins will opt to pinch hit for Harvey, who had thrown 101 pitches through 7, and now Matt is out of the game, and his only chance to win it rests in the hands of Justin Turner.
Pretty impressive by Harvey to this afternoon.
Turner started each of the last 3 games. He's 2 for 9 in this series. Scott Rice getting ready to pitch in the 8th. Mike Baxter stealing 2nd, stealing 3rd, and now Turner trying to get him in.
Mike Baxter has been in the middle of all the Mets wins here at home. Maybe he'll do it on the base paths today.
He's already tied the game with a base hit. Now he's put himself in position to try and score the go-ahead run. Mets have had 3 hits all day long. And Turner watches high, ball 1.
Remember that pass ball earlier in this inning by Wilson. Baxter has to be alive for that also. Another solid 7 innings from Harvey.
On a day when he did not have his best fastball, he allowed just 2 runs and 5 hits over 7 innings. And Turner watches a knee-high strike. Justin's 2 for 8 as a pinch hitter this year. One from Wilson to Turner, and he foul tips it, and it's 1-2. Ruben Tejada would be next. Turner waits on a 1-2. And Justin goes down on strikes to end the inning. 3 strikeouts in the inning for Wilson, but in between, Mike Baxter's RBI hit ties the game. We go to the 8th, 2-2. Slow Motion is brought to you by your Mercedes-Benz Tri-State dealers. Visit them on the web at searchmercedes.com. Watch out, David. Oof. That's a big man hitting you. I don't think Buck even knew that he hit him. Of course, it's Mother's Day, and moms are all over the ballpark today. Moms and kids. Moms by themselves. That would be the perfect Mother's Day gift, right?
Right?
No, that's even better, right?
Fantastic crowd here today. Love it.
Well, it's a great day to watch a ball game. Great day to wear pink. And a great day for Matt Harvey, despite not having his best stuff. He'll get a no decision, and Scott Wright's on for the 21st time.
Well, he gave up a run in his last appearance. Before that, not. But he has struggled with his control, as you can see with the walks and strikeouts to innings pitched.
Travis Snyder, first man up to face him, and he takes a strike. Snyder was at the plate when Clint Barmes got picked off second base by John Buck to end the 7th. And so he gets a fresh turn at bat. Snyder 1 for 3 on the day. And Bobby Parnell gets up alongside Brandon Lyon in the 8th inning.
It makes you think that Rice is in for one batter.
Grounded to the right side, and Harvey and Murphy waits for it and throws out. Snyder one away. You know, when Matt Harvey went to the mound today, Terry Collins was asked about his bullpen because it's been pretty torn up the last few days. And the Mets made a move today. They brought up Greg Burke and put J. Reese Familia on the disabled list, and he ticked off the guys who were available. He said, there's Mark Melanson up in the Pirate bullpen. He said, I've got Burke, I've got Lyon, I've got Rice, I've got Parnell. That's it.
Wow.
So he's going to make the most of that quartet to try and get himself a win today with Harvey out of the game after 7 innings.
Then I'm wrong. With Jones up next, they're going to let Rice get through this inning, or try to.
McCutchen 1 for 2 and a walk. And he had a good cut of that fastball and fouled it back 1-1. So the final line on Matt Harvey: 7 innings, 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, a hit by pitch, and a home run. 101 pitches. Not his most dominant performance by any means, but I think every pitcher would take 7 innings, 2 runs just about every time.
Yeah, you roll that out there 33, 34 times, it's going to be pretty good.
His ERA through 8 starts, 1.44. I think you take that too. Rice misses with his changeup, and now he's behind on McCutchen, 3-1. A very dangerous spot for Scott Rice.
Well, all that experience in the minor leagues, it's going to have to be used here to not give in to McCutchen. Just don't lay it in there.
Buck setting up outside, and it misses low, ball 4. So McCutchen's on with a 1-out walk. Garrett Jones coming up. First, let's check in with Gary Apple. He's standing by with this game break. All right, Gary, and here with Garrett Jones, the left-hand hitter, due up. Clint Hurdle makes the move. He'll send up Gabby Sanchez to pinch hit, and Terry Collins will respond accordingly, and no doubt bring in the right-hander Brandon Lyon to face him. So Rice faces 2 batters. He'll take his exit. 2-2 in the 8th. We'll come right back to Citi Field.
the gate really strong, but has struggled of late with his breaking pitches.
Gabby Sanchez batting for Garrett Jones, brought in a lefty-righty switch, and so the Mets bring in the right-hander to face him. Andrew McCutchen with great speed at first, the tie-breaking run. If you're a Met fan, you're always wary of Gabby Sanchez from his days as a Marlin, when he seemed to routinely get the big hit to beat the Mets. Started yesterday, went 1 for 4, and was robbed of a hit by Justin Turner his last time up.
That defense there, David right on the line. No doubles.
Sanchez 1 for 3 against Brandon Lyon. Jose Tabata out on deck to pinch it for the pitcher, who's in the 5-hole. And the breaking ball in for a strike from Lyon. 0-1.
Outfield as deep as you can get. No doubles over their head, and David Wright on the line. Something you'd very rarely see from a Terry Collins club.
Lucas Duda has his heels almost on the warning.
He does, yeah.
Heels on the warning track is notable in any event, but especially when the heels are attached to pink spikes. The Pirates 2 runs 5 hits, the Mets 2 runs 3 hits. Mark Melancon continues to throw in the Pirates bullpen. Oh, 0-1 to Gabby Sanchez, and he fouls it. 0-2. Very odd to see your closer up in the 8th inning of a tie game. But there are such limited pitchers available for Terry Collins today. He figures he has no choice. He needed Matt Harvey to give him at least 7, and Matt was able to do that. 4th straight no decision for Harvey after winning his first 4 starts. McCutchen leads at first. Here's the 0-2, and Sanchez watches in the dirt, and Buck does a nice job blocking it. 1-2.
Well, when you block baseball with a good base runner on, block the baseball, you've got to keep it in front of you. I mean, you always have to keep it in front, but try to keep it in front so the runner feels as though you're going to get to that ball quickly and can throw him out if he tries to go.
John's first reaction was to reach down for that ball, and then made the nice adjustment to soften his body and keep it in front of him. Now it's 1-2 to Sanchez. Buck sits outside, and Lyon tried to tempt him with a breaking ball, but couldn't get the swing. Rob Drake with the call, and it's 2-2.
I think that's a pretty good call. Gabby Sanchez, extremely strong, able to hold that bat back.
Hook 'em horns.
Great throw over.
That has become the universal symbol now. McCutchen on base for the 3rd time today. Hasn't attempted a steal yet in this series. 7 for 8 on the year. And Lyon, after getting ahead 0-2, now has run a full count to Sanchez. So a huge pitch coming up now for Brandon Lyon. You have to figure McCutchen's on the move here.
Yes. Lyon's best pitch has been his slider. Thrown it twice in a row here to Gabby Sanchez.
McCutchen runs. Sanchez watches ball 4, and the Pirates have 2 men on. So back-to-back walks. Rice walks McCutchen. Lyon is brought in to face Sanchez, and he walks him as well.
Well, this fastball is in the lower part of the strike zone. Could have been called when you see this get to the glove of Buck, but he rises up, and Andy Fletcher does not make the call. Close pitch.
So now the go-ahead run in scoring position, and Jose Tabata, who had a huge day yesterday, not in the lineup today, but he'll be the pinch hitter, batting for the pitcher Wilson. Tabata 4 for 5 yesterday with a double, a home run, and 3 RBIs. McCutchen at second, Sanchez at first, and 1 out. Tabata watches a knee-high strike with a slider, 0-1. Pirates do not have a left-handed bat on their bench. That's why Tabata's up here.
Different pitch, slider. Maybe the same location, though, as the 3-2 pitch to Sanchez.
Tabata 2 for 2 against Brandon Lyon. He would love to get a double play ball here. Curveball swung and missed. As Buck knocked that ball down in the dirt. And a 2-strike count on Tabata. That curve has been a difference maker for Lyon the last few years.
What Tabata is telling you right here, Gary, is that he's a guy that in the strike zone is a good hitter, but he's a guy that will also chase bad pitches.
No reason to throw him a strike now. Well, Lyon got ahead on Sanchez 0-2, lost him to a walk. Now he's ahead on Tabata 0-2 with Pedro Alvarez on deck. And Buck blocks that one. Ball 2 strikes. McCutchen's the go-ahead run. He's at second. Sanchez at first with 1 out. Lyon with the 1-2. Struck him out. Brandon Lyon fans Jose Tabata for the 2nd out.
Boy, that was some good pitching, sequence of pitching. Really made Tabata aware of the breaking ball down in the dirt, and then surprises him and throws the fastball by him.
With the left-hand hitter Pedro Alvarez coming up, Terry Collins is going to make a pitching change. In a 2-2 game in the 8th inning, he's going to go to his closer, Bobby Parnell. A very unusual move, but it tells you how shorthanded the Mets bullpen is today. Parnell coming in, 2-2 in the 8th. We'll be right back.
inning.
Well, the Mets have 14 wins on the season, 4 by the starting pitcher, and here 4 with Bobby Parnell.
Over the last few days, the Mets starting pitchers have not been going deep into games, and so Terry Collins has 3 relievers he really feels he can't use today. Atchison and Hawkins and Carson, and so it's Parnell's job to try and get 4 outs and give the Mets a chance to win it in the bottom of the 8th or the bottom of the 9th. Pedro Alvarez, the batter, 2 out and 2 on, and Alvarez shoots one down the left field line, slicing. It'll go foul. Parnell has been outstanding against left-hand hitters this year. They're hitting just 2 for 22, 091 against Parnell. Alvarez has swung the bat well in this series, coming back home to New York. He's 5 for 10, has a double in 3 trips today. The breaking ball outside, a ball and strike. Scott Rice got an out here in the 8th. Brandon Lyon got an out here in the 8th, but they each walked a batter, necessitating the use of Parnell. Mike McHenry on deck.
And Alvarez lines one over short, a base hit, and that'll get the Pirates the lead. McCutchen races in. It's misplayed by Lagares. That enables the runners to move up to second and third. 3-2 Pittsburgh. Alvarez comes through with an RBI single against Parnell to put Pittsburgh in front 3-2.
Well, it doesn't matter who pitches against New York City-born Alvarez as he laces a line drive to left center field. And then it became a comedy of errors. Here, Lagares misses it, but Duda needs not to throw this to third. He needs to throw that to second base. Alvarez moves up. As soon as there was a hit, you know that the lead runner is going to score pretty easily. But you see with the error in center field, able to go on to third base, and the back runner, Alvarez, gets the second.
So the Pirates back in front 3-2 after the Mets had tied it in the bottom of the 7th. It's a single, an RBI for Alvarez, an error on Lagares, allowing the runners to move up. And now McHenry with 2 in scoring position bats against Parnell. That run is charged to Scott Rice. He's now on the hook in this game. And McHenry takes a fastball at the knees for a strike.
Well, you laid it out, Gary. If Parnell were to get that out, it would give the Mets maybe 2 chances to win the ball game, but did not.
Just the 3rd hit for a left-hand hitter against Parnell this season. And again, Buck has to go down in the dirt to stop a breaking ball. 1-1 to McHenry. Sanchez now at third, Alvarez at second. Pedro Alvarez has had a huge impact on this series. 6 hits and 11 at bats, 4 runs batted in for the New York native. Two balls and a strike to McHenry. Well, Matt Harvey was able to gut his way through 7 innings on a day when he didn't have his best stuff. Got his 4th straight no decision. Gave up just 2 runs in 7 innings despite not being at his best. But the other areas of this ball club, the offense and the bullpen, not quite measuring up.
Parnell's got to get this out here.
Glenn Barmas waiting on deck. 2 in scoring position for McHenry. He's got a 3-1 count. Center field, Lagares back a few strides to get it, and that retires the side. But the Pirates regain the lead. A couple of walks, and Alvarez with an RBI hit. 3-2 Pittsburgh in the 8th. In the second inning, an RBI single from Mike Baxter in the 7th that tied the game. But the Pirates have regained the lead, and now the Mets try and fight back in the bottom of the 8th against the outstanding back end of the Pirates bullpen. Gabby Sanchez stays into play first, and Mark Melanson has been practically perfect in the 8th inning. Comes on to pitch.
He's only been scored upon once. Pirates are 16-0 when they lead after 7 innings, and it's because of Mark Melanson and Jason Grilli.
That's got a run off Grilli in the opening game of the series to win a ball game. Melanson pitched in that same game Thursday night and worked a scoreless inning. That's off the top of the batting order against the former Yankee, former Red Sox, former Astro, Mark Melanson. Came over from Boston in the trade that sent the Pirates closer, Joel Hanrahan, to Boston, and everybody wondered, well, who's going to close for the Pirates? Well, at age 36, Jason Grilli has done a fantastic job of taking over that role. And Melanson has slid right into that 8th and not walked a batter the whole season. How's that even possible? So Troy Hawkins has done the same.
Yes.
Hasn't walked a batter. So here's Tejada, who led off the 6th inning by drawing a walk and never moved an inch. Ruben is 0 for 2 today, 2 for 15 in the series. Mets have had just 3 hits today. A home run and a couple of bloops. That's been it. Due to hit a home run in the 2nd. Buck followed with a bloop single, and Baxter had a flare single in the 7th. Justin Wilson, now pitcher of record on the long side. He gave up that tying run in the 7th and might have a chance to vulture a win. 0-2 now to Tejada. But what Wilson did do was strike out 4 batters in an inning and a third.
He was impressive.
Not hurt by the walk and the wild pitch that set up the tying run. Daniel Murphy on deck, then David Wright for the Mets in the home 8th. 0-2 to Tejada, and Melanson blows him away with 94-mile-an-hour heat. Well, that's 9 strikeouts for Pirate pitchers today. Mets have been striking out in double digits just about every day.
Was it 16 yesterday?
16 is excessive.
Yeah, so. No answer for me. None.
Here's Daniel Murphy, 0 for 3 today. Now 0 for his last 17. Struck out his last time up after hitting one to the left field fence that was caught in his previous at bat. And Murphy takes a knee-high strike. Terry Collins going back to his primary lineup today, trying to put his big guys in big spots. But so far, not a whole lot of results. His top 4 in the batting order, Tejada, Murphy, Wright, and Davis, have gone a combined 0 for 12. Melanson throwing nothing but strikes. Got Tejada on 3 pitches. Now 0-2 to Murphy. And he finally throws ball 1. Pirates 3 runs and 6 hits. The Mets 2 runs and 3 hits. Melanson, who struggled in Boston, has been outstanding in Pittsburgh. Murphy hits a slow bouncer foul. Took that one almost off the ground. Melanson first started out with the Yankees. Had some success in Houston. 2 years ago, he was in 71 games with the Astros, pitched to a 2.78 ERA, but it was a very different story in Boston. Gave up a whole bunch of home runs. His ERA was over 6.
We were talking about the Cardinals before. He was sent to the minor leagues.
Now ahead on Murphy, 1-2. And Murph takes one the other way. That's an extra base hit. Marte picks it out of the corner, and Murphy stands at second base with an opposite field double, snapping his 0 for 17. Ninth double of the year for Murphy.
Nice hitting by Murph after fouling off that tough curveball. Gets a fastball out over the plate and drives that ball to left field. Best swing in some time for Murphy.
So that puts the tying run in scoring position for David Wright. David is 0 for 3 today. Hit the ball hard as last time up, lining out to deep left field. Henry going over the signs with Melanson. Barmas trying to find out what they are. So how do you approach Wright here? You've got the two left-hand hitters to follow. David's the winning run at the plate. You don't generally like to put the winning run on base.
Very carefully. With the way that Ike has been swinging the bat, I would say that you'd have to pitch very carefully to David Wright. Also, Wright had a base hit off him, Melanson's other appearance in the series.
Took it to right field for that base hit. So with Murphy at second and 1 out, the Mets down a run in the bottom of the 8th. And Melanson working to right. And it goes between the wickets on McHenry, and over to third goes Murphy. That is a huge base.
Well, that's a pass ball there. You got to come up with that little cutter here from Melanson and just through the 5-hole.
So the Mets are now a fly ball away from tying the game. It is charged as a pass ball on McHenry. And the Pirates are going to bring the infield in, trying to cut off the run. One to 0 to David Wright with the infield in. Ball away, 2-0. Well, I think now you might be tempted to even walk David just to set up the double play possibility.
I think he's good because he's got a veteran out there in Melanson. He's going to see if he can get David to bite. Occasionally the hitter will get anxiety up there and go out of the strike zone.
David is 8 for 9 this year, getting a runner in from third with less than 2 out. That's extraordinary.
Going with the curveball, trying to get back on the count.
He missed with it. Now it's 3-0. Do you give him intentional ball 4 now?
I would. No one wants to be second guessed by putting the winning run on.
Well, that's unconventional strategy, but sometimes you just don't want to let the big guy beat you. And right now, David is the big guy without a whole lot of help.
That being said, I would let David swing 3-0.
And he takes high ball 4, so the semi-intentional walk puts Wright on base with the potential go-ahead run. So now Murphy at third, Wright at first. Nobody behind Melanson in the bullpen. The 8th inning has belonged to him. By the way, that's the first walk Melanson has issued this season.
Well, I know that Melanson and Grilli have been outstanding. Surprising, though, that Tony Watson's not up. He pitched in yesterday's game. Here comes Ray Searage, left-hander himself, in to talk to Melanson.
Well, that walk is going to allow the middle infielders for the Pirates to drop back to double play depth. You've got a double play candidate at the plate in Davis, but the question is, how do you set up your defense with regards to the shift if you're the Pirates? They've been over-shifting on Davis. You can't do it quite the same way in this situation.
Yeah, the only thing is that you don't have to hold a runner on second base after the pass ball, of course, Murph at third. So you're going to have a pretty standard position for the second baseman, maybe pulled over a little in the hole, but you're going to have the shortstop probably playing right behind the bag.
Of course, the third baseman, Alvarez, has to be pretty honest about where he plays with a runner at third base. So it's going to be a very conventional defense for the Pirates here, more conventional than we're used to seeing against Ike.
There's your defense. Gary's talking about conventional. Second baseman, shortstop, double play depth up the middle.
Ike is 3 for 7 this year, getting a runner in from third with less than 2 out. He's 0 for 3 today. Fly it out, grounded out, and struck out. Tying run at third. Go ahead run at first. Mets down a run in the 8th. And Davis swings and misses at the fastball. 0-1.
Well, Ike has been pushed down and down in that lineup to try to get him going. But today thrust into the cleanup spot to produce runs. Can he do it here?
Through 110 at bats, Ike has just 9 RBIs, hitting .133 with runners in scoring position. Melanson's 0-1. Hit in the air down the left field line, slicing toward the crowd and out of play. So now Davis in a 2-strike hole. Looking at least for the fly ball to get Murphy in from third. Right at first with 1 out. Melanson pitched around right to get to Davis. Now he's ahead on Ike 0-2.
Fastball up in the strike zone. Let's see what the call is from McHenry. Fastball up.
On 0-2, Davis watches high. Ball and 2 strikes. 28-year-old Mark Melanson pitching himself into a tight spot after giving up the double to Murphy. Not helped out by McHenry's pass ball.
It's a catch-22 situation for the catcher. If you call fastball up, you could strike out Ike Davis, but it also elevating that pitch allows him to hit the ball in the air. Going with the breaking pitch.
One-two. Right runs, and Davis strikes out. Right steals second. So Davis strikes out for the second straight time. Now the Mets have the tying and lead runs in scoring position.
Well, not much for that bat on that 2-strike curveball. A wave by Ike.
The Mets with their 4th stolen base of the game. Wright's 7th of the year. Now a base hit could give the Mets the lead. Murphy at third, Wright at second, and Duda, who hit a home run his first time up today, coming to the plate. Quite the gentleman hands McHenry his mask.
Well, we see the defense swung over. Second baseman Inge in the hole. Gabby Sanchez, first baseman deep. Shortstop up the middle to keep Wright somewhat close.
Melanson got Duda on a ground ball Thursday night. Second and third and 2 down. Murphy really edging down the line and drawing Melanson's attention, hoping to get him the ball.
Unless you're going to steal home, Murph needs to really get in foul territory and stay still. Let Lucas Duda have full concentration here, not worrying about him at third base.
He thinks he's Reyes.
I'll think again.
It worked for Jose. Drew a few balks that way. Melanson and McHenry need a conversation.
Well, I think if you're pitching here, and you know you have a hitter on deck who's got 10 home runs, but he has been struggling of late, you've got to make sure you make your pitches. Here's the outfield. The arms, Starling Marte in left field, great closing speed, great arm. McCutchen in center probably has the weakest arm of the outfielders, and Snyder outstanding in right field.
Now Melanson ready to go against Duda. And Lucas pulls one off the bag. The throw to the pitcher covering in time. Inge with the recovery, able to make the play, and Melanson gets through the inning. Usually if the ball hits the bag, it works for the offense. Not here. Inge in the right place to grab the hop off the bag. Melanson covers for the 4-1 putout, and the Mets are turned aside. How often do you see that? Melanson getting the break. Nothing but bad luck for Duda. And the Mets strand 2 in scoring position. It's 3-2 Pittsburgh.
Well, Geico Sports Night, that's the only show that's only New York sports. Tonight, Rangers face elimination. Knicks look to regroup after last night's loss, and Jets wrap up rookie minicamp on Geico Sports Night. Tonight starting at 10:30, only on SNY.
Ninth inning, Clint Barmes leads off against Bobby Parnell. Barmes opened the scoring for the Pirates today with his second home run of the year. He's 2 for 3. And he smacks one on the ground for Tejada, who makes the running grab and throws him out. 1 away. Well, it has all gone against the Mets on this homestand offensively. Unable to score more than 3 runs in any game. Jason Grilli getting ready to try and close it for the Pirates. Finally looked like they'd gotten themselves a break with the ball off the first base bag. And it bounces right to Brandon Inge, and they get through the inning. Here's Inge up for the second time, and it takes it wide from Parnell. Inge popped up his first at bat, and there's a knee-high strike. 1-1. Terry Collins shorthanded in the bullpen because of all the innings his relievers have had to throw this week. Had to go to Parnell in a tie game in the 8th. Parnell gave up the go-ahead hit to Alvarez. Got the final out, but back out there for the 9th.
Really, the problem wasn't the hit by Alvarez, although that ended up being the problem, is the 2 walks allowed by the relievers in that inning.
Which is what forced Parnell to even be in the game in that spot. As Inge bangs one off his leg, a foul ball. A Again, the 1-2, and Inge goes around. Ball in the dirt, and so Buckle slapped the tag on Inge, and that's the second out of the inning. First strikeout for Parnell. Let's check in with the studio, see what's coming up on WB Mason Postgame Live. We'll check in with Gary Apple and Bobby Ojeda. Guys. So 2 out and nobody on. Here starting Marte, 0 for 3 and a walk today. Matt Harvey gave up 2 runs in the 3rd inning. That's all he allowed over 7 innings, despite not being at his sharpest. But he was able to muscle his way through. Pirates got a run after a couple of walks in the 8th, and so far that's enough for Pittsburgh. And Marte with a half swing fouls it back. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th, the Mets will have Buck, Baxter, and Lagares due up against Jason Grilli. They still have Jordani Valdespin available to pinch hit from the left side. And Marte takes a strike. 1-2.
I was just thinking, Gary, you mentioned it earlier that Matt's next start is going to be in Wrigley Field. The first time he's going to see Wrigley Field, he'll be on the mound. It's unusual, right?
It'll be Friday afternoon. Let's have 3-day games at Wrigley Field, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, after their 4 in St. Louis. Probably better that way, particularly if the wind happens to be blowing out that day. You don't want it to watch first.
A recommendation: don't open the shades in Chicago.
All you got to do is hope it's a cold day.
If the wind's
cold, the wind's blowing in.
Yes, and if the wind is blowing out, do not take batting practice. You don't want to see all those home runs deposited into the bleachers.
I want to hit a few. Not worth it.
No, not worth it. Take it from me.
3-2 from Parnell, and Marte fouls back the high fastball. 96 from Bobby. Again, the 3-2, and Marte bounces one foul. Well, the Mets' only 2 wins on this homestand have been walk-offs, courtesy of Mike Baxter. Baxter does get an at-bat in the bottom of the 9th.
There you go.
Perhaps there's some symmetry. Making Parnell work hard.
I was just thinking, if you punched into the computer the dimensions that you'd want a ball player to look like, probably spit out Starling Marte, wouldn't it?
He's been awfully impressive. Came up last season, so this is his first full year in the big leagues, and he looks like he's got it all. Got power, got speed, and he can hit. Running up Parnell's pitch count here in the 9th inning. This will be the 10th pitch of the at-bat from Parnell to Marte. And there will be an 11th. A lot of fastballs turning into foul balls.
Big grunts there from Parnell trying to throw that ball past Marte. He can't.
Pitch number 11. Another foul ball.
And that one on the breaking pitch, 3-2.
Cubs just got a run in the 9th to go in front of the Nationals 2-1. They got a run in the 8th and a run in the 9th. After beating Washington yesterday 8-2. 3-2. This could go on for a while. That's 12 pitches and still no result. This is going to be Parnell's 28th pitch, and you start to worry about his availability for tomorrow.
Well, that's the one problem, bringing your closer into a tie game in the 8th.
And he winds up walking him on the 13th pitch of the event. And there's nobody up behind him. Again, the Mets are short of arms because of the short stints that their starting pitchers have been throwing. Yesterday, Rob Carson worked 2 innings. He's not available. LaTroy Hawkins worked 2 innings. He's not available. Scott Atchison, who wasn't even supposed to be available yesterday, worked 2/3 of an inning. The only other guy who is available today is Greg Burke, who just got here.
And he should be up.
Well, if you're going to bring up a pitcher and you're not willing to use him, you should bring up somebody else.
Yeah.
The runner goes. Ground ball through the hole. A base hit for Snyder. Marte will easily go to third. Marte, by the way, got an enormous jump because Parnell paid him no attention. And Snyder has his second hit of the day. And the Pirates have a chance to get some insurance here in the 9th.
Look at that jump. 7, 8 steps maybe. Hits the hole. Marte couldn't find the ball for a while, but then finally made it to third base.
So that'll get Andrew McCutchen to the plate with 1st and 3rd and 2 out. And Parnell is going to have to throw a 30th pitch
against a hitter that earlier in this series hit one almost over the wall in center field, saved by Juan Lagares.
McCutchen's been on base 3 times today with a single and 2 walks. It is essential for Parnell to get an out and keep this a 1-run game. And he gets the ground ball to short. And Tejada with the overhand throw gets McCutchen to end the inning. So the Pirates strand 2. Mets will come up in the bottom of the 9th with Buck to lead off, down by a run. New York Mets baseball on SNY is brought to you by Tallulah Hot Sauce, the flavorful hot sauce with the iconic wooden cap. The new 2013 Lexus RX. And by Parts Authority Auto Parts Superstores, where the answer is always yes. Last of the 9th, and Jason Grilli will look for his 2nd save in this series.
Yeah, just trying to stay perfect on the season, very similar to the numbers of Melanson, who pitched the 8th.
He took the loss on Thursday night. He got the save with only 1 out required on Friday night. And now Grilli in to face Buck in a 1-run game to lead off the last of the ninth. Buck is 1 for 2 and a walk today. He has his first stolen base in 4 years. And Grilli's first offering is a breaking ball in for a strike. Bobby Parnell, by the way, the 30 pitches he threw today, his second highest pitch count of the year. He threw 35 in that 15-inning game in Miami. And remember, Terry Collins gave him the next day off when he didn't want it. As Buck waves at that breaking ball 0-2, but you have to figure he's going to get a day off tomorrow in St. Louis as well. And so it goes.
It's very unusual. We talk more about the relievers not available than the ones that are available day to day.
Mike Baxter on deck. Juan Lagares scheduled after that, but you have to figure we'll see Valdespin in this inning. And Buck strikes out of the fastball, 3 pitches, and Grilli puts him away.
I'll tell you, the Pirates today have done a nice job of pitching backwards, breaking balls early in the count, and once they get ahead, just throwing the ball past the Mets hitters.
That's 11 strikeouts for Pirate pitchers today, including 7 of the last 8 outs. Mets struck out 16 times in yesterday's game. Here's Baxter, who drove in what was then the tying run with a bloop single in the 7th, and stole second and third, but was stranded on third base. That was in the 7th. And Baxter, first pitch swinging, flies one out to left, and Marte comes in, and there are 2 out. So the Mets are down to their final out, and who but Jordani Valdespin to try and get the Mets even. It's been a tumultuous series for Valdespin, who homered on Friday night, only to see himself hit by a pitch in yesterday's game after excessive celebration following his home run Friday. And now Valdespin hopes to pull one out of the fire here in the 9th inning today. By the way, the Cubs won that game 2-1 in Washington. They got the go-ahead run when Alfonso Soriano stole third and Kurt Suzuki threw it away to bring in the go-ahead run in the 9th. Soriano. He used to do that all the time.
You're right.
Back in his 40-40 days. And then Kevin Gregg, who is now the closer for the Cubs, closed it out. So the Cubs won the last 2 games of that series. So here's Valdespin with 2 out and nobody on. And he takes a breaking ball strike from Grilli.
You know, you can understand going against these good relief pitchers, you know, that or pitchers that you're not scoring runs, that you're having a brownout, you're struggling offensively, but you cannot explain to me 11 strikeouts, 16 yesterday. That's going to have to change. 2-strike approach has got to change, and change quickly.
A ball and a strike to Valdespin.
27 outs in Ks.
Well, the other thing is, you know,
2 days.
You hope that the flip side of that is a lot of walks. 6 walks to go with the 27 strikeouts. It's not enough to make it worthwhile. So you're running a lot of deep counts, and then you're not adjusting with 2 strikes. One and one to Valdespin, who has 3 home runs, including 1 in this series. And there's the curveball in for a strike. And the Mets are down to their final strike of the day. Marlon Byrd would pinch hit if Valdespin can keep it going. Grilli's 1-2. He struck him out, and the ball game is over. The Pirates take 3 out of 4 in the series as they win on Mother's Day. A no decision for Matt Harvey. Pittsburgh scoring a run in the 8th against the Mets bullpen and making it stand up as Melanson and Grilli do their job, and the Pirates win it 3-2.
Well, 21-16 now. The Pirates, one of the big reasons is Jason Grilli and Mark Melanson, who came in and pitched the 8th and 9th. Clint Hurdle's squad playing good baseball. They got a nice, talented young outfield, and the Mets no match in this series.
Mets struck out 12 times today, 28 times in the last 2 games. The Pirates take 3 of 4 and drop the Mets 6 games under 500 for the first time this season. Lucas Duda hit a home run. Matt Harvey, on a day he didn't have his best stuff, worked 7 innings for yet another no decision. The Mets go 2-4 on the homestand and score 3 runs or fewer in every game on the homestand. Tomorrow night, the Mets go into St. Louis to play the first of 4 with the Cardinals. Jeremy Hefner against Lance Lynn. Our coverage begins on SNY tomorrow night from Busch Stadium at 6 o'clock. Pirates win it 3-2. Now for Ron Darling, Kevin Burkhardt, and our entire SNY crew, I'm Gary Cohen at Citi Field. Have a great Mother's Day. WB Mason post-game live comes up now.